Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Crenshaw Gymnasium on the campus of Randolph-Macon College for this evening's second-round contest in the 2014 Men's Division III Basketball Championship. Tonight's ball game features the Bulldogs from DeSales University against the Eagles from the University of Mary Washington. My name is Marty Wilson. I'll be the play-by-play announcer for this evening's ball game. I'm joined by Mr. Andrew Price, who will be your color commentator. Andrew, both these teams advanced on the floor here last night. DeSales taking out the home team, Randolph-Macon College. Mary Washington defeating Springfield College. And when you take a look at DeSales first, the Bulldogs now 19-9 on the season. They come down to Ashland out of the Freedom Conference. They earned an automatic bid into the NCAA tournament by winning the Freedom Conference Tournament Championship. Last night, they were very impressive against the homesteading Yellow Jackets of Randolph-Macon, winning 76-70 in overtime.
Well, this certainly was probably one of the bigger upsets of the opening night here at the NCAA tournament. Be able to come here and win on the road in a team that had only lost once prior this season at home in a very tough conference. So they had a very good game plan. They were a little bit undersized. They really packed it in on the big guys, forced Randolph-Macon to the perimeter, take a lot of jump shots. They didn't make them. Did a good job rebounding and just kind of hung around and then just made some tremendous plays at the end thanks to some great senior play out of a couple of their guards, Mike Coleman and Kyle Hash.
And you looked at, they had an 8-point lead with about 3 minutes to play. The Yellow Jackets fought back, hit a three-point shot to send it into overtime, but then the Bulldogs did not lose their composure, gained a lead in overtime, and then really made their free throws down the stretch. You talked about Coleman and Hash. Coleman went for 29 points on the ball game, making 13 of 14 of his free throw attempts, and Kyle Hash off the bench, 26 points. He was 10 for 10 on his free throws. As a team, they made 25 of 28, so as they got a lead late in the ball game, those two senior guards were just unflappable from the line.
They were, and it was something. I mean, they got up in overtime and never really let go. So you're right. You get Macon makes that shot at the buzzer. The crowd goes nuts. They've got some momentum on their side, and you think that in that situation, the home team's going to, kind of work their way to a victory in overtime. But DeSales, thankfully, their guards were quick. They're able to get to the free throw line and make some plays and knock down some shots. And, of course, once they got the free throw line, they never really left an opening because of how many they knocked down. And the ones that they missed, I think the one that Coleman missed was with maybe 10, 15 seconds left to go in a ball game, and it kind of been established. But, senior guards at tournament time at all levels of college basketball, I mean, that's tough to beat, even particularly when they come and make plays like they did. I mean, they had a good game plan on the half-court set offensively. They were very patient, got some shots to go as the shot clock was winding down, and just always did enough to keep the game at the tempo that they wanted to against Randolph-Macon, who I think would much rather get out and run and play a little bit faster than DeSales would.
When you look at the Eagles from the University of Mary Washington, 23-5 on the season. They come down to Ashland out of the Capital Athletic Conference, automatic qualifier. They defeated Christopher Newport in their championship ball game, 65-48. Very impressive here in Crenshaw last night, 78-58 over the Pride of Springfield College. They trailed 13-11 early in that ball game and then went on a 17-0 run. 12 of those points in the 17-0 run, Bradley Reister accounted for them on really a great three-point shooter. We talked about that in our pregame yesterday. He had 22 points in the game last night. He averages about 18 points a game and is one of the better three-point shooters in the country. And then they also got a big lift off the bench with Asa Scott, the freshman. They had one of their players, they had Dewan Daniel in foul trouble, and Scott comes off the bench and contributes 11 points in the second half.
Right, and two big threes when Springfield was kind of hanging around, always making a bucket here or there to keep it around 8-point lead or so, really letting Mary Washington pull away. Asa Scott made a couple threes in the second half that were big, and that's what's going to make Mary Washington so tough to defend, is that yesterday they had 5 different guys make three-pointers for them. And, they love to shoot the three. I mentioned yesterday's ball game. I think they've only been 4 games this year where they've not made at least 8 three-pointers. They're going to throw it up from the perimeter because they're not as big, sort of like DeSales in that regard. And it's going to be a different task defensively for DeSales than it was last night. Last night they had to take away the size of Randolph-Macon. They packed it down. They wanted to force the Jackets out of to take jump shots, hope they miss, and then rebound and go the other way. Completely opposite. They're going to be a lot more perimeter-oriented on defense, and it's going to be real interesting to see how DeSales is able to shift their game plan from one opponent to the next, because 2 completely different teams that they're going to be playing.
And it's also going to be interesting to see how DeSales defends Dom Mora, the senior point guard for the Eagles. He had 14 assists last night, only 8 points, but certainly a great distributor of the basketball, and really the offense started through him. Did a nice job of finding his shooters on the offensive end.
He did. He did a fantastic job of getting his way into the lane, drawing the defense, and then finding the guys and making a play. Not a guy that's really going to shoot a whole lot for you. So, I think that's one thing that if you're DeSales, you try to do is play off him and take away the passing lanes from him and make him make some plays to beat you. And also the other thing, too, is that your DeSales has a little bit more size, Brian, at 6'7". How is he going to be able to get out and guard some of these guys like Dejan Daniel at 6'2", kind of a wide-body guy, Dylan Farranet. Both those guys are about 6'1", 6'2", like to put the ball on the floor and attack and be aggressive defensively. Maybe use a little bit more speed by him and kind of neutralize that, the player in the post for DeSales.
And with that, folks, we're going to take a quick timeout for the playing of our national anthem. When we come back, we will have the starting lineups for tonight's ball game. We'll be back to you in just a moment. That concludes tonight's national anthem. We'll quickly give you the starters for tonight's ball game. First, for the Eagles from the University of Mary Washington, who will be the visitors on tonight's scoreboard. They come in with a 23-5 record out of the Capital Athletic Conference, coached by Mr. Rod Wood in his 18th year at Mary Washington. They'll start number 1, Dylan Farranet, a 6'2 senior out of Westmoreland, Virginia. 13 points, 6 rebounds per ball game. Number 0, Dom Mora, the 6-foot point guard out of senior point guard out of Burke, Virginia. 8 points, 3 rebounds per ball game. Number 3, Bradley Reister, the 6'1 senior out of Richmond, Virginia. Reister averaging 18 points and 4 rebounds per contest. Number 21, DeJuan Daniel, the 6'1 senior out of Fredericksburg, Virginia. 11 points and 3 rebounds per ball game. And number 25, Taylor Johnson, the 6'3 junior out of Ashburn, Virginia. 14 points and 6 rebounds per contest for the Eagles. For the Bulldogs of DeSales University, they come in with a 19-9 record overall out of the Freedom Conference. They're coached by Mr. Scott Koval in his 21st season for the Bulldogs. They'll start number 5, Mike Coleman, a 6'1 senior of Edgewood, Maryland. 16 points and 6 rebounds per contest. Number 14, Paul Palmer, a 6'1 senior out of Laurie Station, Pennsylvania. 9 points and 3 rebounds per ball game. Number 23, Cody Deal, the 6'3 sophomore out of Palmyra, Pennsylvania. 9 points and 4.5 rebounds per contest. Number 12, Michael Golden, the 6' junior out of Prokaski, Pennsylvania. 5 points and 2 rebounds per ball game. And number 30, Travis Bryan, the 6'7 junior out of Horsham, Pennsylvania. 3 points and 5 rebounds per contest. And Andrew, you mentioned a little bit earlier in the pregame how the DeSales had a great game plan last night against Randolph-Macon, the home team here. They really packed it back. They chose who they were going to let shoot the ball, and it worked. Some of the perimeter players for Randolph-Macon couldn't make the shots that they were being given. A little bit different approach. We looked at Mary Washington last night. Not a whole lot of height. They really don't let that bother them. They spread the floor so much. Really not much of an inside presence. They spread it out and make you guard everybody, and everybody can shoot it. So it's going to be interesting to see the adjustments that the DeSales makes. Can they play and really cover everybody in that spread offense?
Well, you're right. It's certainly a contrast in what they've seen yesterday, but against the Jackets, but certainly Coach Koval's going to have them prepared. I think what you just got to do is you start with Reister, in there, and tremendous shooter that he is. And, he played 39 minutes yesterday, and, second game in 2 days. How are your legs? They played with so much energy yesterday. How are you going to be able to keep that up, for the second game here in 2 nights? And you wonder if that starts those minutes. DeSales playing a little bit of an overtime game yesterday. Coleman with 38 minutes as well, too, yesterday. So a lot of, a little bit of mileage on these guys' legs in this time. But I think with Mary Washington, or if you're DeSales, you try to limit Reister's takes. He's such a good shooter, and really force it into other guys' hands and see if they can be the ones to knock down the jump shots. They're capable, but I honestly felt like the way that Reister was shooting yesterday was going to be automatic.
And the winner of this ball game moves into the Sweet 16. They'll take on the winner of the Virginia Wesleyan-Wesley game that is being played tonight down at Virginia Beach. That was actually, I believe, a 5 o'clock tip, so we may be able to get a score on that very quickly. And we'd like to ask you to stay with us at the half. We actually have 2 interviews at the half. Ken Tyler, the current athletic director from the University of Mary Washington, will join us at the half, as well as Jerry Joyce, the vice president of student life from DeSales University. So both those gentlemen with us at the half. Just about ready to get it started here from Crenshaw. The University of Mary Washington in their road blue uniforms, DeSales in the home white. It'll be Taylor Johnson for the Eagles jumping up in center circle against number 30, Travis Bryant. Tip controlled, actually loose ball tracked down by the Eagles. By DeSales. First possession of the ball game will belong to the Bulldogs. Into the front court comes Golden, working against the Eagles half-court man-to-man. Starts at right side in the hands of Deal. Coleman now on the right wing. Facing up, baseline jumper off the glass and good. About a 15-footer. Didn't see that from him last night, but nice bank shot there to put his team up by 2.
Yeah, usually not, shooting the ball mid-range jump shots, not usually special. He wants to attack and hopefully get to the free throw line.
Reister down low to Fairnet. Jumper on the way by Moore, and that's a three-pointer. He did not shoot the ball often last night, but gets a clean look early in the ball game. Puts his team up by 1, 19-18 to play here in the first half.
If you're looking at that from a percentage standpoint, he'd be the guy you'd want to take that shot if you are DeSales, but give him credit there for knocking that one down early.
And the Eagles show some three-quarter court press. The Bulldogs break it and bring it into the front court. Coleman now with the dribble out high. Swings it right side in the hands of Pammer. Pammer gives it up to Golden. They jump on the screen, and the foul's going to be called on Fairnet. You can see they're trying to trap off that screen on the right side, so Fairnet will get whistled for the foul. His first, the team's first.
And we saw him get a little bit of foul trouble in the first half yesterday. That time just being too aggressive. Definitely getting a little bit of the body there, coming out and hedging on that screen.
Inbound into the backcourt. Goes to Golden. He'll clear the timeline. Starts at left side of Deal. Now left wing. Back it goes to Pammer. And again, they look to jump the screen. They reverse it in the hands of Coleman. Coleman operating just inside the right hash. Bryan will set the screen. Instead, they swing it to Golden. 20 on the shot clock. Golden will back it out on the dribble. Finds Bryan top of the key. Back it goes to Golden on the left wing. He looks to penetrate. Loses it. Ball on the deck. And it'll be a held ball, and this should belong to the Eagles. Good defense on the perimeter that time from Mary Washington.
And DeSales, despite everything else, they did have some problems with turnovers yesterday and have all year long. So we kind of got away with it yesterday, being able to hold Macon to such a low shooting percentage. But it's double trouble if Mary Washington combined that with hitting some threes.
Eagles with an early lead, 3-2. Daniel with the dribble, brings the top of the key, swings it to Moore. He'll fire the three, and that's good. 2 for 2 on three-point shots. Dom Mora puts his team up 6-2 in the early going. He only had 8 yesterday to go with his 14 assists. Golden nearly loses it. Bryan underneath now. Back at it comes to Golden.
And Moore's a 22% three-point shooter. So you looked at some of the guys that made threes yesterday. He was not one of them, but it maybe changed things up how DeSales plays if he keeps knocking them down.
Pammer along the baseline to Deal. 13 on the shot clock. Back at it comes. Pammer will fire the three. That's good. Clean look. They sent it to the baseline, brought it back out to the perimeter, and Pammer pulls the Bulldogs back to within 1.
And that's going to help DeSales. They're going to need that balance.
Fairnet misses the driving layup. Underneath, that's Daniel misses the put back. Finally cleared by Bryant. Looks for the outlet. Gets it to Golden at midcourt. Into the front court. Pammer right side three on the way, and that's good. He knocked down 2 threes late in the ball game last night against Randolph-Macon. Back-to-back threes, and the Bulldogs now have an 8-6 lead. Into the front court, Mora. Between the legs dribble at the right elbow. Backs it out to Fairnet. Right wing now in the hands of Daniel. Right side, Mora directing traffic. They're trying to feed it down low to Johnson, not there. 18 now on the shot clock. Fairnet top of the key, swings it to Reister. Reister will use the high screen, loses the dribble as he goes down the key, out of bounds. And that's going to be an interesting call because Reister was out of control. Went right over the back of Golden.
Reese's just trying to track the ball down, and it's a tough one from the DeSales standpoint. The ball is inches away from being out of bounds, but clearly there was contact there. The DeSales defender coming in and making contact before the ball actually did go out of bounds.
And that will be called on Michael Golden. His first, the team's first. And that really was almost a loose ball, and difficult call. I almost say you let that ball go out of bounds and just reward it back to Mary Washington at that point in time. So Mora will inbound with a fresh 35 from the baseline. Out high, he finds Daniel. One dribble, gives it back to Mora on the right wing, guarded there by Bryan. He'll use the dribble, take it down the paint, look to finish with the left hand, has that blocked by Bryan and cleared by Coleman. Into the front court, Deal. Back it comes to Coleman. Motions for Golden to cut through, high ball screen set by Bryan. Keeps the dribble alive, swings it now to Deal, top of the key. Left side to Palmer. They jump the screen, Palmer keeps the dribble alive. Coleman right side. Again, ball screen by Bryan. 16 on the shot clock. Coleman picks up the dribble, feeds it a Deal. Back to Coleman now, late in the shot clock. He'll work it from outside the right hash with 8 on the clock. Long three-point shot by Coleman. Side rim, no good. Long rebound chased down by Mora. Deep in the left corner, the point guard will push it into the front court. Between the legs, pass back to Riester. Riester on the fly has his layup blocked. Out of bounds, he'll go, and it'll go over to DeSales. Nifty pass that time by Mora, and Riester takes it hard to the rack, but DeSales gets a block, and they'll have possession. 16:02 to play first half. The Bulldogs up by 2. Working against backcourt pressure, Deal will inbound. Flash into the ball. That's Kyle Hash who's checked into the ball game. He'll beat Daniel into the front court, keeps the dribble alive. The Eagles look to trap. Swings it back in the hands of Golden. Now Mary Washington will drop back in a half-foot man-to-man. Dribble alive, Golden left side. Top of the key, that's Deal. Right side now to Palmer. Palmer uses the ball screen from Deal, swings it right side to Hash. Hash down low to Deal. Working there against Johnson. Step back jump shot off the back rim. No good. Battle for the rebound. And that's going to be a rebounding foul called to number 40, Ryan Callahan. His first, the team's second.
Yeah, good box out of the fair, and it down low, giving up quite a bit of size. But
our first media time out of the evening, 8-6 in favor of the Bulldogs of DeSales University. The only two buckets that Mary Washington has right now, both coming on three-point shots by Dom Mora. Pretty evenly played so far, but both teams getting after on the defensive end.
It is. And one interesting match, we kind of wondered about how with Mary Washington having all the shooters that they have in Travis Bryan is 6'7" center for DeSales. How's that going to factor into all this? Because you can have a big guy trying to chase those guys up, but what DeSales has done is put him on Mora, probably the least likely guy, the point guard, and played off him a little bit. Yeah, he knocked down a couple threes early, but we've seen a couple of times to where he's tried to drive, and it's harder to make those dump-off passes when you've got to try to make it around a 6'7" guy. So we wondered how DeSales would adjust to the team that they're playing tonight and go with a different strategy. You're taking your big guy, put him on a pass-first, really point guard, and it's making it difficult for him to make those plays in the paint we've seen the last couple of times down. So it's an interesting adjustment there. But the flip side of it is, if you're Mary Washington, he's already made a couple of threes, and if he just gets a little bit of confidence and gets going, it might force DeSales to switch.
And so far on the defensive end for DeSales, they've made it difficult for Bradley Riester to get looks. The driving layup that he had was contested. And I would say for the Bulldogs, they've struggled a little bit to get into their offense on the offensive end of the court. Every ball screen that they set, the Eagles are coming out and trapping that and making them pull the ball back out on the dribble. It's been difficult to run a pick and roll through that because they've been very aggressive against the screens.
Yeah, and that's what Randolph-Macon did the same thing in the second ball game yesterday, at least in the first half. Try to pressure Coleman when he's bringing the ball up.
Moore into the front court. High ball screen set there by Johnson. Moore will bring the dribble right side. Swings the top of the key to Farragut. Popping out left side, it's Daniel. Top of the key back to Mora. Now on the perimeter, it's Johnson. Back to Farragut. He'll fire the three off the back rim. Rebounding position by Johnson. He'll get the stick back. Snuck inside. Back up off the glass, and that ties the ball game at 8. Brian Laird now in to run the point for the Bulldogs. Swings it right side to Palmer. Back out high it comes to Deal. Left side now to Hash. Hash will use the dribble, swings it right side to Palmer. Underneath to Callahan. Catching the low post. They double team him, and it's going to be a held ball. It'll stay with the Bulldogs. But Mora doing a nice job. It was a tough catch for Callahan in the low post, but Mora dropping down and really contesting that, tied him up.
Yeah, and DeSales did that with some success yesterday's ball game, where they, more so with the guards, were kind of running somebody to that set the screen, running somebody to that block for an easy layup. So they're watching a nice job scouting that out.
17 on the shot clock. It comes to the top of the key in the hands of Coleman. Working out high now against Asa Scott. Swings it to Laird. Laird with a dribble against Mora. 10 now on the shot clock. Ball in the hands of Deal in the left wing. Back it goes to Laird. Right side to Coleman. 4 on the shot clock. Coleman has to force a deep three. That side rim, no good. Cleared by Reister. Gets it to Mora. Quickly into the front court come the Eagles. Handoff top of the key to Fairnett. Reverses it right side to Asa Scott. Mora will fire the three out of the right corner, and that's good. He's 3 for 3 now in the ballgame on three-point shots.
And the same thing that time they got Callahan in there at 6'8", trying to guard the point guard. Same philosophy with a different body, but Morris continues to make him pay with his perimeter shooting.
He now has 9 of the 11 points for the Eagles. Coleman on the perimeter, picks up the dribble, feeds it to Laird on the baseline. Down low to Callahan. Up off the glass, misses the short one. Reister drops down for the rebound.
Good interior defense that time by Fairnett.
Mora into the front court, finds Reister, the trailer. He'll fire the three, and that's good. A quick handoff back to Reister. Reister guns it for 3, and it's a 6-point lead for the Eagles.
When the Springfield's coach said he had the quickest release in Division III, he wasn't kidding. That one, he barely had the ball. That was impressive.
Hash with a loose ball, picked out of there by Mary Washington. Reister with the steal. He'll push it in the front court. Right side, Taylor Johnson with a pump fake, goes baseline, looks opposite to Mora, into the corner, now out high, stolen by Hash. 2-on-2 opposite way for the Bulldogs. Pick the pocket there by Mora. Mora with the steal, front court to Reister, catch and shoot on the way. That's off the mark. Long rebound pulled down by Taylor Johnson. He'll miss the jumper. Deal has a hand on the rebound, but it goes out of bounds. It'll belong to the Eagles. Frantic pace here in Crenshaw. The Eagles really turning up the pressure. They've got a 6-point lead.
Well, it was about this point in time in the first half yesterday where Mary Washington started getting the pressure, started getting some turnovers out of Springfield, started knocking down some threes. I think they forced like 8 turnovers in a 12-possession span and knocked down 4 3-pointers and really busted that game open. See that same sort of energy and momentum in the last few minutes here.
DeJuan Daniel checks back in the lineup for the Eagles. He'll take the inbound beyond the top of the key. With the dribble, swings it left side now to Mora. 13:02 to play. First half, Taylor Johnson misses the 3-point shot. Offensive rebound comes down to Daniel. On the deck, back out it comes. He'll throw it over the head of Johnson, and that should be a backcourt violation as Johnson has to field it. So they got an offensive rebound. Daniel looked back to the shooter and just overshot Taylor Johnson into the backcourt. So that'll be a turnover against the Eagles.
Yeah, a lot of bodies there for him to try to get that pass out, and it was a tough one to make. And that was a good play there by Mary Watson. I think Johnson was trying to track it down to see if he could bait Coleman into touching it first and then getting a steal out of it, but couldn't quite do that.
Hash will inbound into the backcourt, finds Laird. Under 13 minutes to play. It's a 14-8 lead for the Eagles for Mary Washington. On the perimeter, that's number 33, Poorman. Dumps it down along the baseline to Coleman. Back out it comes to Hash. Hash reverses to Laird. Laird will fire the 3. That's long off the back iron. Pulled down by Daniel. Atlet comes to Holly, who's checked in to run the point for the Eagles. Brings it down the right side. Top of the key, it's Johnson. Reverse it to Reister. Reister puts it on the deck. Back it comes to Johnson. Pumps on the 3. Back to Reister. He'll back it out with a dribble. Feed it out to his point guard, Holly. 17 on the shot clock. Bulldogs back in a half-court man-to-man. They'll start it right side. In the hands of Yockstommer. A kick. It goes out of bounds, so they'll reset the shot clock to 15. It had worked its way down to 9. Fairnett will check back in. He'll replace Taylor Johnson for Mary Washington. The Eagles will own it from their own offensive baseline. Marcellus Holly to trigger it in. Out top, they find Reister. 2 dribbles. Ball deflected. Yocksheimer comes up with the loose ball. Holly baseline. Out it comes to Fairnett. Reister now top of the key, and he'll draw the foul.
It's a nice ball fake down in the left post there by Fairnett. I thought he could have been turned to the basket, but
he had a clean look. It looked like probably could have finished down there. An immediate timeout with 11:55 to play. That last foul was called against Mike Coleman. It'll be his first, the Bulldogs' third. So out of the timeout, not a shooting foul, but the Eagles will have possession with 11:55 to play, and they've got a 6-point lead.
Certainly just it's been at the strength of getting some turnovers and get a little run up, getting the energy up a little bit, and of course knocking down some threes. They've got 4 3-pointers already after knocking down 12 yesterday. So, as long as those are going down for them, then they're going to be, it's going to play into Mary Washington's hands for sure.
And we talked about Dom Mora last night, 8 points and 14 assists. Really was not one of the primary shooters for the Eagles in that ball game. But I think he recognized early on how they were trying to play him. He's got a bigger man on him on the perimeter, but they're playing back off of him, trying not to let him beat them on the dribble. And then he's had the free hand to shoot the three, and he's knocked down three in the early going.
Yeah, and the last one in the corner, he's kind of he's held the ball for a second or two going, I'm wide open, do I shoot this? And, it's hard to pass up. You like to think that a point guard, you leave him that wide open, you can knock down that shot. But he's only made 15 three-pointers on the year coming in this ball game in 69 attempts. They're guys that I think come off the bench for Mary Washington have shot more threes than he has this year, just to give a little bit of an idea of. So from DeSales standpoint, I think that, you try to pick your poison about who it is and knowing that he's a great distributor of the ball and wants to find above his teammates. And, but he's knocked down some big shots so far in the first half.
And for the Bulldogs, they've got Hash and Coleman and Laird, a three-guard set right now. See whether Laird can find an opening for either Coleman or Hash. Possession belongs to the Eagles. They'll inbound in the front court. Mora with a dribble alive out beyond the top of the key. Swings it right side to the hands of Daniel. Daniel will use the dribble. Reverses it now to Mora. Left baseline, that's Holly. Holly brings the top of the key to Daniel. Right side now in the hands of Mora. Back to the top of the key to Farranet. 14 on the shot clock. Right side to Mora. They close out there. Number 32 in the ballgame, that's Kohler. Skip past corner. Holly will fire the three. That's short off the side rim. Battle for the loose ball underneath. Picked up and scored by Farranet. And you can see Daniel almost dove into the pile, cleared space. Farranet picks it up off the deck and puts it up for two. And the Eagles have an 8-point lead.
Second chance bucket.
Into the front court, Poorman, and a 10-second violation against the Bulldogs. Laird and Poorman in the backcourt got in trouble. Poorman tried to spin his way into the front court, but the official right in front of us nails him with a 10-second call. Big turnover, and the press for the Mary Washington has been giving the Bulldogs some trouble.
Well, it has been, and looked up right after the whistle blew. 24 is on the shot clock, so no doubt about that one. But you're right, ever since Mary Washington, maybe the first couple of possessions haven't been as aggressive with it, but since they've gone to it the last 5 minutes or so, DeSales has really been stuck on 8 for a while. They came out, Pammer made a couple of threes, but since then, it's been a little bit of a dry spell the last 5 minutes or so.
And we talked about the scoring performances for Hash and Coleman last night, 29 and 26 points for those two. They really have not been a big part of the offense so far, with about 9 minutes off the clock in the first half for the Bulldogs. And I think that's because Mary Washington has not let them get comfortable in a half-court set. First, you've got to fight to get the ball across the mid-court stripe, and then they come at you with a trapping defense in a half-court set, and there's really no rhythm at this point in time for the Bulldog offense. Mora takes the inbound, swings it left side to Daniel. Top of the key, that's Reister, catch and shoot three on the way, and that's good. You simply cannot let him catch that ball. His release is so quick. He now has 2 threes in the first half.
I just don't, like I said, I don't know how you defend it at that point. Once he's caught it, it's too late, the way he shot the ball this weekend.
Front court, Golden's check back in the ball game along with Brian. Brian top of the key finds Hash. Hash left side to Deal. He'll fire the three. That's short off the side rim. Coleman battles for the rebound, and Mora will get called for the foul. A wrestling match down on that low block, and Coleman stripped it away from Mora, and Mora gets whistled for the foul. His first, the team's second.
Yeah, kind of, like I said, battling for position down low, but said Coleman trying to find ways to contribute. He did have 10 rebounds in the ball game yesterday. Pretty impressive from out on the perimeter.
So inbounding from the baseline, it will be Golden. They throw it out high to Bryan. Near steal there by Farranet. It reverses to Pammer. Couldn't get the three. Corner, that's Golden. Golden with a dribble, pulls it back out, works his way to the right elbow to Pammer. Pammer will fire the three. Front rim, no good. Offensive rebound comes down to Bryan. Back at it comes to Coleman. Coleman goes baseline, runs himself into a trap. Deal with a tough catch. Out of bounds, off Deal's hands, into the Mary Washington bench. And you can see Rod Wood, the head coach for the Eagles, very much into this ball game.
Yeah, he's brought up his energy level the last couple of minutes. So he was down there crouching down. I thought he was going to be the third defender there on the baseline for a second, getting that hand in there.
Turnover for the Bulldogs. 19-8, the lead is for the Eagles right now. 10:06 here in the first half. Mora, top of the key, looks to penetrate. Gives it up to Daniel, right baseline. Swings it on the perimeter to Johnson. Johnson will use the dribble. Couldn't get it to the cutter, Reister. Instead, Daniel, he'll fire the three. That's going to be an air ball. Reister with a save. Back at it comes to Daniel. Driving layup, and he scores. Credit Reister with the save and the assist. Daniel with the finish with the right hand, and it's a 13-point lead for the Eagles from the University of Mary Washington.
Yeah, driving the bucket there is more Daniel's game, not as much of a three-point shooter. He'd rather be attacking like he did there at that last finish.
Golden gives it up to Pammer. Pammer brings it back to Golden. On the perimeter now it's Coleman. Coleman looks to penetrate, works his way in. Golden fakes the three, probes with the dribble, now pulls it back out outside the right hash. Farinet with pressure on the ball, 9 on the shot clock, right side to Pammer. Pammer back to Golden. Golden penetrates down the lane. Pull-up jump shot off the back rim, and he gets that to go. Deep in the shot clock, sort of forces a little runner, and that's a tough shot.
And that ends about an 8-minute stretcher where DeSales did not score.
And a whistle blows. It looks like Coleman battling with Daniel. And if that's going to foul on Mike Coleman, that should be his second with 9:07 to play here. And that will be his second, the team's fourth.
And he just kind of saw some bodies getting tangled up as they're going back down the other way. Didn't really see much of what happened, but other than just there's definitely some contact.
So 9:07 to play. It's 21-10 in favor of the Eagles from the University of Mary Washington. Over the top, they'll inbound it to Farinet. Farinet will turn and fire the three. That side rim, no good. Ball tipped out. Back to Farinet. Now Moore on the left wing. Working there against Bryan. Moore works his way to the top of the key, now pulls it back out on the dribble. Looks to beat Bryan off the dribble. Gives it up on the baseline. That's Farinet. Out it comes to Scott. He'll fire the three, and that's good. He had 2 threes off the bench in the second half for the Eagles yesterday. A proven shooter as a freshman, and it's a 14-point lead.
Yeah, it just really seems to fit right into what Coach Wood wants to bring here.
And a foul in the backcourt on the press. Taylor Johnson's going to get whistled for the hold. That should be his first, the team's third. 8:35 to play. It's 24-10 in favor of the Eagles from the University of Mary Washington. Marcellus Holly will check in to replace Dom Mora, and the Bulldogs will inbound it against the Eagle pressure.
Can't run the baseline.
And that's a turnover for the Bulldogs. And the official, he points now saying that's a spot, but usually they do a better job of letting the young man know that that's a spot. And as he ran the baseline, that's actually a traveling call out of bounds. That's a turnover for the Bulldogs.
That's kind of a tough break for DeSales there because you get the basket and then the foul before you're able to inbound it. I don't usually see that situation.
Scott to Holly. Holly on the left wing. Bullet pass underneath. Back to Scott. Brings it back out on the dribble. Taylor Johnson will fire the three. Side rim, no good. Ball tipped and controlled by the Bulldogs. Golden comes down with a rebound. He'll beat Reister into the front court. Dribble alive as he clears the timeline. Rotates it right side to Coleman. Coleman with the ball screen from Bryan. Left side to Golden. Golden step back, fires the three. That's back rim long. Ball tipped back out to Coleman. Fresh 35 for DeSales. Now Coleman on the perimeter working there against Scott. Ball screen set by Bryan. Coleman drives right baseline into traffic. Back out it comes to Deal. Reister with a near steal. Pokes it away. It'll stay with the Bulldogs with 24 to shoot. And once we go to a media timeout, you can see the Bulldogs having to work for everything they can get on the offensive end. It seems like the pressure that's being applied by the Eagles defense, they just can't. They're forcing them so far out on the floor, they can't get a decent look.
Well, you're right. It's 7 turnovers for DeSales so far compared to 2 for Mary Washington. But I think, but more recently than just turn the ball over, it's just I think they're doing a good job of taking care of the ball, but it's just they're so hurried on the offensive end to try to beat that pressure that when they're finally able to get a shot up, they're out of rhythm. They're not, they're not set as much, and as a result, they've like I said, gone cold. Only 1 field goal I think in the last 9 minutes or so, and that was that last bucket, a tough one by Gilden. So this is like I said, this is the point in time in yesterday's ball game. Mary Washington really took advantage. You've got to think that there's probably at least some point in time where Mary Washington maybe goes a little bit cold from beyond the arc. But basically, as we kind of said at this point in time yesterday for Springfield, you've got to at least give yourselves a chance to get yourself back into the ball game for that time to happen. So they've started doing a little bit better job taking care of the ball. Now it's just a matter of getting back in the rhythm of their offense. But Mary Washington doing a good job of speeding them up. Like I said yesterday, DeSales probably one of the slower tempo teams that you'll see. Probably certainly this regional, maybe in the NCAA tournament. And Mary Washington's doing a good job of speeding them up, making them play faster than they want to.
And again, we ask you to stay with us at the half. We have 2 interviews for you at the halftime. Ken Tyler, the athletic director from the University of Mary Washington, will be joining us at the half, as well as Jerry Joyce, the vice president of student life from DeSales University. Out of the timeout, ball belongs to the Bulldogs. Inbound will be from Palmer, gets it to Coleman in the front court. High ball screen set by Bryant. Coleman picks up the dribble, now looking for help. Golden comes to him, 16 on the shot clock. Golden working against Holly out high, nearly to the mid-court stripe. He'll use the dribble, bring it left side to Palmer. Deflection there by Moore as Moore goes up into the stands. It goes out of bounds. It'll stay with the Bulldogs, but with 8 to shoot. And looking at the shooting statistics right now, Mary Washington shooting about 43%, DeSales at 33%. Hash will check back in the lineup for the Bulldogs. He's going to replace Golden. Meanwhile, Palmer will inbound. Flashing the ball, it's Deal. 7 on the shot clock. Handoff goes back to Coleman. He'll fire the 3. That's side rim. Ball tipped out, controlled by Daniel. Mary Washington with the run out. Daniel takes the length of the floor, and that's going to be a blocking foul. Hash couldn't get in position, tried to slide, but Kyle Hash will get whistled for the foul. Should be his first, the team's 5th. No free throws, but with 7:25, Reister checks back in, and the Eagles will have it. Actually, I think they're going to send someone to the free throw line.
No, the official at the baseline's pointing to the spot, but those are the types of shots Coleman was making yesterday. There's the shot clock's winding down, a decent look from the corner. Those are going down for him, but a little short there. And again, you just kind of wonder, having to play all those minutes yesterday, if that becomes a little bit of a factor, particularly at the pace of play here in the first half.
Farranet checks in. Taylor Johnson sits down for the Eagles. Inbound will be from the baseline. Morrow to trigger it in. Out high finds Daniel. Bulldogs in a half-court man-to-man. Morrow right side, working there against Hash. Keeps the dribble alive on the right wing. Ball screen set by Farranet. Crossover dribble there by Morrow. Hands it to Daniel. Swings it right side in the hands of Yochsteimer. Back to Morrow, top of the key. 19 on the shot clock. Beats Hash off the dribble. Feeds it on the perimeter to Reister. They jump at Reister. Reister around the horn. Feeds it to the corner. Yochsteimer will fire the 3. That rattles off the mark. Deal with the rebound. Waits, gets it to Hash. Hash into the front court. Ball tipped into the stands, or actually the table. There goes Mora. Got a piece of it. Let's hope he's okay. It went hard into that table. And
second possession in a row, he's gone diving out of bounds to try to get a deflection. Kid's been tough this weekend. I tell you what, I mean, he's somebody I think a lot of teams in Division III would love to have.
So they take a moment to reset the tables down the way from us. Mora looks like he's okay. Ball will be inbounded in the front court. Bulldogs will have it with 29 to shoot. Gets it to Hash. And Hash nearly took his eyes off for a moment. A blocking foul on Reister. Hash was looking back to the DeSales bench at the opposite end of the floor for direction. Reister runs at him and nearly gets a steal, but gets whistled for the foul with the hand check.
Yeah, later they got some contact there, trying to be aggressive. I guess the way that the rules are going this year, they're going to have to call that.
Reister gets whistled for his first, the team's 4th. Inbound goes into the backcourt in the hands of Hash. Hash now working against Reister, feeds it in the high post in the hands of Bryan. Bryan around the horn to Coleman. Coleman fires the jumper off the glass side backboard. Yochsteimer comes down with a rebound, hands it to Daniel. Daniel in full sprint, kicks it back out to Mora. Passed on the 3 and instead feeds Farranet down low. Yochsteimer has his shot blocked by Coleman and tipped to Palmer.
I thought it would be a nice play to Yochsteimer for a layup. That's a great play by Coleman.
Front court, Palmer. Out it comes to Coleman. 16-16 on the game clock. It's 24-10 in favor of the Eagles. Back at it comes on the perimeter to Hash. He'll reset the offense. Working there against Reister. 15 on the shot clock. Bounce pass high post goes to Bryant. He'll turn working against Farranet. And a foul in the low post. We'll see who this whistle goes against.
If it's against Mary Washington, not on the shot clock. That's a tough one to get.
The foul's called on number 5, John Yochsteimer. His first, the team's 5th, so 5 fouls each way now with 5:58 to play. 14-point lead for Mary Washington, 24-10. Inbound will be from the baseline. Hash to inbound it. Out high, gets it to Palmer. Palmer working against Mora between the circles. Brings the dribble left side to Hash. Hash working against Reister. Back to Palmer. Now they reverse it to Hash. Backdoor cut not there. Takes it left side. Top of the key, that's Coleman. He'll fire the jump shot. That rattles off the mark. Tip, no good by Bryant. Offensive rebound to Palmer. Off the glass by Hash with a miss. Bryant with the miss from the putback. Finally stripped out of there by Moore. They had 4 looks that time. Couldn't get it to go. Moore into the front court.
Those are the sort of plays that Springfield took advantage of yesterday. There's multiple tip situations.
Reister to Johnson. Johnson 17 feet, and that's good. Great ball movement that time. Mora drove it in the lane, hit Reister. 1-touch pass to Johnson. Johnson 1 dribble into that jumper, and it's a 16-point lead.
Just very smooth on offense there, very comfortable.
Coleman, top of the key. Fairnet, nice job of cutting him off on the dribble. They rotate it right side. Hash, and again they jump at Hash off the screen, rotates it to Palmer. He'll fire the 3. That's back rim, no good. Tipped and controlled. It'll go out of bounds. And one of the Eagles on the floor.
Might be Mora. Cramping up, maybe. He looked like he was a little slow. Yeah, he can. I think it's a cramp because he was a little gimpy kind of last time down.
And he's already run into the table, into the stands once, into the table once. Now hard to the deck. Rough first half there for Don Moore. He'll go to the end of the Eagles bench looking for some treatment. The possession will belong to the Bulldogs. 4:52 to play here in the first half, and it's 26-10 in favor of the University of Mary Washington.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on. I mean, it looks like how he's racked, and I think it's just cramps, but he's been playing his butt off in the first half.
Coleman will inbound. They take a moment to mop up the floor out there by the top of the key. Coleman inbounds it to Palmer. Swings it on the perimeter to Hash. Left-sided deal. He'll fire the contested 3 side rim. Reister with a rebound. Run out opposite end. Taylor Johnson, and he'll finish for 2. Nice find. Reister immediately looking down court. Taylor Johnson had broken out and gets an easy 2, and it's an 18-point lead for the Eagles. DeSales front court, Hash with a dribble. Working there against Holly and a blocking foul on Marcellus Holly. And that contact almost created that time by Hash.
Yep. That's a tough one because it looked like his arm was kind of coming up there. I thought Holly's doing a good job just staying with him.
16 fouls now called against the Eagles. Inbound will be from the sideline. They find Hash on the left sideline. Top of the key, that's Deal. Down low, nice find Palmer. He waits, pump fakes, and has a shot blocked. And that'll be a held ball, and it'll belong to the Eagles. Fairnet comes back down and gets a piece of that. I thought Palmer first with that pump fake had a nice move, but Fairnet with the recovery gets the block and possession.
It's just, again, we said it a lot in yesterday's ball game. The defensive intensity out of Mary Washington has been very, very impressive. And if you carry them out to a big lead here, really setting the tone for them.
4:15 to play first half. The Eagles with a 28-10 lead over the Bulldogs. Scott with a dribble, swings it to Reister, top of the key. Rotates it to Holly on the left wing. Now over the top, back to Scott. He'll fire the 3. Rattles off the mark, up high off the back of the rim. Deal clears the rebound. Hash comes back for the outlet. Hash will clear the timeline. Working there against Holly. Starts it, top of the key to Deal. Deal reverses it in the hands of Callahan. Callahan to Hash. Hassel on the baseline. Draws a double team. Out it comes the Deal. 16 on the shot clock, and Deal gets called for the travel. I think he caught it and maybe was looking for the 3-point attempt. Never got the ball on the floor as we go to immediate timeout. And that'll be another turnover for the Bulldogs. And they've been stuck on 10 points for a long time.
Yeah, after Palmer's second 3 at 17:30 to go, they've only had 1 field goal in the last 14 minutes. That's going to be tough to overcome, but I mean, you think you just got to give all the credit in the world to Mary Washington and just how they're playing defensively, the energy that they're bringing. They're getting deflections, getting to passing lane, and they're playing with a lot of purpose, and they're speeding up DeSales, and DeSales just not making shots, but I think because of it. I mean, I think Mike Coleman's 1 of 6 after the 29 points he had yesterday, and Hash at this point has only got 1 shot after having 26 yesterday. I mean, it's been an outstanding defensive effort out of Mary Washington. Now, one thing for DeSales, I mean, things have kind of cooled off a little bit for the Eagles. I think they've only got a couple of buckets, both on runouts in the last 5 minutes or so of gameplay. So they've done a little bit better job in the defensive end, but it's not getting anything to go to really bridge this gap in the meantime.
3:37 to play here in the first half. A 28-10 lead for the Eagles from the University of Mary Washington over the Bulldogs from DeSales University. 6 fouls against the Eagles, 5 against the Bulldogs. So the next foul will send the Bulldogs to the free throw line for the rest of the half. And you're right, it's just difficult for the Bulldogs to get any sort of look. Even when Palmer got that ball down on the right block and that pump fake, the defense recovers in the form of Fairnet to get a block. And it's almost as if Mary Washington's been playing with 6 defenders. They seem to be everywhere on the defensive end of the court.
Just wears you down.
Inbound, Fairnet in the backcourt. Finds Holly. Holly clears the timeline, working against the half-court man-to-man. Starts at left side to Reister. Reister will use the ball screen from Fairnet, keeps the dribble alive, feeds Holly on the right wing. He goes baseline. Callahan never saw him, and Holly gets knocked to the deck, and they're going to call that foul, I believe, on Hash. So Hash will have 2 fouls. Coleman will have 2 fouls.
And this will actually be the first free throws in the ball game for either team.
Marcellus Holly to shoot 2. Makes the first. 6 fouls each way, so bonus for the rest of the 3:23 of the half. Andrew Kohler checks back in for the Bulldogs. Holly at the line to shoot his second. Second is good. Substitution as Mora comes back in. Mentioned he was cramping up a little bit earlier. Really been all over the floor in the first half for the Eagles, and it's a 30-10 lead right now for Mary Washington. Inbound to Palmer in the backcourt. Back it goes to Hash. Hash clears the timeline, chased there by Mora. Reverses it left side to Deal. Deal to Coleman on the left wing. Working there against Scott. Baseline, back at it comes to Deal. Now Hash beyond the top of the key, reverses it back to Deal. Back to Hash. 15 on the shot clock. Hash with the dribble, high post. They find number 32, Kohler. Turns, gives it up to Deal. Right side now to Hash. Step back three-pointer on the way. That's back rim, no good. Offensive rebound by Kohler. Then he loses it into the hands of Mora. Eagles into the front court. Mora dribble live, top of the key. Handoff goes back to Johnson. Johnson down the lane, kicks it back to Scott. Three-pointer on the way by Mora, and that's good. He now has 4 threes, I believe, in the first half. 12 points.
Very confident stroke that time. He caught it and knew he was going up with it as soon as he had it. He's feeling here in the first half.
And a strip, nearly a steal. Coleman into the backcourt, chased there by Scott. Ball deflected, saved by Palmer. They get it in the front court. Down low, it's Kohler. Top of the key, Palmer. He'll fire the three. That's back rim. Mora battles for the rebound, tips it to Johnson, and Johnson gets called for the travel. Johnson turned and ran right into Deal and then went to the deck, and that probably could have been a foul, but the call will go in favor of the Bulldogs. They'll keep possession as they're down 33-10 with 2:08 to play here in the first half.
Yeah, that definitely looked like some contact and forced Johnson on the floor there, but a little bit of a break for DeSales. But again, get some decent look that time, but you can just tell he's a little bit hurried.
Hash to Coleman. Coleman with the pump fake along the baseline. Back at the Deal. Finds Hash on the perimeter. Between the legs dribble, loses it. Holly with good ball pressure. Now Coleman on the left side. 25 on the shot clock. Coleman drives left. Jumper on the baseline. That's no good. Offensive rebound to Kohler, and they're going to call the foul.
Hey, I say the Bishop didn't have a very good whistle. Some play kind of played on there. It wasn't very loud and audible, but I think they're calling a foul on the jump shot there by Coleman. But everybody else kept playing, and one of the other officials a couple seconds later was calling a travel.
And you can see Coach Rod Wood asking for an explanation. The foul was called down in the left corner. The ball came off the right side. Kohler catches it and takes a step after the whistle had blown. The other official had not heard the whistle, and he calls a travel. But the first foul with fouling the jump shooter, which was Mike Coleman, will stand, and Coleman will go to the free throw line to shoot 2.
Yeah, I didn't see it. I saw the arm motion before I heard the whistle there, but he's taking a step back jump shot there as Coleman's free throw. What else is good, but it's kind of a tough spot to get a foul from Mary Washington. The guy's taking a kind of a fadeaway step back jump shot and get a whistle.
First free throw's good. Daniel checks back in the lineup for the Eagles. He's going to replace Scott. Mora makes his way back to the scores table. And you can see the official motions. He's got to go back and officially check in. They're going to make him wait.
Interesting, we're kind of going a little offense for defense with him here. Last couple possessions, he and Holly kind of going in and out.
Meanwhile, Mike Coleman waits at the free throw line to shoot his second free throw. That was the 17th foul against the Eagles, so the last 154. DeSales will be shooting the 1-and-1 as Coleman knocks down both free throws.
And that ends about a 7-minute scoreless drought for DeSales. Really only one field goal since the 17:30 mark for the Bulldogs.
Moore into the front court. Takes his time, clears it, using the right-handed dribble. Motion for Reister to come out on the perimeter. Handoff goes to Reister. He'll bring it to the right side with a dribble. Working there against Palmer. Reverses it to Johnson, now left side to Mora. Mora, top of the key, working against Hash. Over the top, they find Johnson in the right corner. 6 now on the shot clock. Johnson backs his man down. Mora with a penetration. Opposite, he looks for Yoxtheimer, and Yoxtheimer scores. Right block, nice find by Mora. Deep in the shot clock, John Yoxtheimer adds 2, and it's a 35-12 lead for the Eagles.
And that's really what we saw him doing yesterday's ball game, just penetrating, dumping it off when the defense comes to help, and finding a teammate for an easy bucket.
Palmer to deal, Hash down low. They find Palmer on the right block, working against Reister, short on the left, gets it back, has his shot blocked by Yoxtheimer. On the run are the Eagles. Front court, Daniel. Handoff goes back to Mora. Had the 3 if he wanted it, but he'll pull it back out. Under a minute to play. 25 on the shot clock, 45 on the game clock. Mora will direct traffic, brings it to the right side with a dribble. Facing up there against Kohler. Down the lane he goes, back out it comes to Johnson. Johnson puts it once on the floor, gets it back to Mora with 10 on the shot clock. Mora working there against Kohler. Top of the key, step back 3. That's going to be short, front rim. Loose ball tracked down by Reister. Reister looked to penetrate at the glass. He gets the bucket and the foul. Palmer went for the block from behind. Reister aggressively to the hole. He'll get the bucket and the foul. 19.1 on the game clock, and Reister will shoot 1.
This is just a wide open lane to the basket there, and the contact came late and gave the foul.
And what an impressive half, defensive half of basketball for Mary Washington. Right now they've given up 12 points as Reister makes the free throw. Holly will check in to replace Reister.
Yeah, DeSales 17% 4 made field goals, 10 turnovers.
Deal will inbound. Gets it into Coleman. Coleman in the backcourt working against Daniel. Clears the timeline, 11 on the game clock. Dome with ball pressure. They run Moore at him, makes him give it up. Palmer fires the 3, and that's good. 3 from the left side. Palmer knocks it down. Big bucket late in the half. The Bulldogs Mora nearly throws it in as the buzzer sounds, but we'll go to the half with the Eagles from the University of Mary Washington up 38-15. And that's a pretty impressive half of basketball for the Eagles.
Right, the way his half was going, it wouldn't surprise me if it had gone in, but you're right. 7 3-pointers, but I mean, for Mary Washington, but most importantly, defensively. I mean, particularly, Palmer hit a couple threes early, kept things close, I think at 8-8 at one point, but then just from that point on, only 2 field goals the rest of the way, the last 17 minutes for DeSales, really just out of sorts on the defensive end, and playing with a lot of energy, a lot of purpose, and it just really disrupting what DeSales is trying to do on the offensive end.
And it's really not as if Mary Washington has had a great offensive half either. It's just they've been really getting it done from the defensive side of things. And when you only give up 15 points in one half of basketball, chances are you're going to hold on and win that ball game.
Exactly. That was the thing. I mean, at one point they're kind of teetering around the 30s, and if you kind of play that out, it means they're going to be, in the 60s for the ball game. And that's not a tremendous number, particularly with all the steals and threes that they want to get. But like I said, when you combine that with an effort, to only give up 15 points at defensive end and then make a couple of plays there late in the last minute to get up to 38 at the half. That's a great combination right there.
As we take a look at the stat sheet here as we wait for our 2 interviews to come by. First look at the stat sheet for Mary Washington. They lead the ball game with 38 points. They're shooting 45% in the first half, 14 of 31 overall, 7 of 18 on their three-point attempts for 39%, and 3 of 3 from the free throw line for 100%. They lead the rebounding margin 19-17 to the Eagles over the Bulldogs. Leading scorer in the first half, Dom Mora has 12 points. Bradley Reister with 9. Taylor Johnson with 6. Marcellus Holly 2. John Yoxtheimer 2. And Asa Scott with 3. For DeSales, they're shooting 20% in the first half with only 15 points on the scoreboard. 5 of 25 overall. 3 of 15 on their threes. 2 of 2 on their free throws. And with that, I'll turn the headset over to Mr. Ken Tyler, the athletic director from the University of Mary Washington.
As Marty of the headset, and appreciate you joining us here at the half, and certainly exciting half of basketball, exciting run here for the Eagles. Last couple of weeks winning the conference tournament, now a couple of impressive games here at Crenshaw.
Well, it's been a lot of fun, certainly for our entire campus and our community. And that first half, that's as good a defensive half as I've seen really any team play in quite some time. We were all over the place. It looked like we had 7 players out there on defense, and DeSales really frazzled, and I'm really happy with where things stand right now for sure.
And certainly an interesting, I guess, point of this ball game is you were a college teammate with Scott Koval, that is the head coach at DeSales, and of course playing Mary Washington. So talk about, I guess, the emotions that go into this for you coming into this ball game.
Well, first and foremost, it's great to see Scott. I don't get to see him as much as I like to anymore, and he's an outstanding person and a great coach. But tonight he understands it's business.
Right.
And, it's all about the Eagles tonight, and I'm sure that they're going to come back. DeSales is going to come back and fight in the second half. There's a lot of basketball left, but it's really is kind of neat to catch up with Scott, who was a great player at William & Mary, a great point guard. And I've got a couple of my other old teammates from William & Mary that live in the Richmond area that are here tonight. So it worked out really well.
Well, it's exciting, and of course, a very successful athletics program at Mary Washington. For those that are joining us, tell us a little bit about some of the spring sports. I know baseball's off to a good start, usually a very strong program as well.
Well, we're really proud of all of our sports. We have 23 sports and almost 500 student athletes, and we really pride ourselves on being a comprehensive program and having excellence across the board. And from fall to winter to spring, we want to provide our student athletes with a top quality experience, and we want to compete for championships. And our men's basketball team and our swim team in the winter as well led the way in winning a conference title. And now it's baseball, softball, and men's and women's lacrosse, right, and track and field. And, all of them are off to great starts. And actually today finally was a spring-like day.
Right,
it kind of felt like we should be
right,
playing some spring sports. So it's really, really fun and exciting.
And of course, here at Randolph-Macon, Coach Moore was our women's lacrosse coach. You do, I think, in her first year up there, too. And I know we're very sad to see her go, but I think that's probably an excellent hire for you guys.
Well, thank you. We agree. She's a terrific lacrosse coach, but an even better person, right, as you guys know. And she's a Mary Washington alum and former assistant coach at Mary Washington. So we're really pleased to bring Caitlin back
right
home to Mary Washington, and we appreciate Randolph-Macon giving her to
right
us. So.
Well, one of the things I noticed is very impressed with the athletic department is a lot of giving back to the community. I saw that the swim team did some things to raise money for cancer research. It looks like a 5K and getting around Thanksgiving with the food bank and all of that. So I thought a nice effort there out of the athletic department to do a lot of things in the community.
One of the really tenets that we try to live by is connecting with our community and giving back. And we really believe that our student athletes are role models. And, with the privileges of NCAA tournament play, getting your name in the newspaper, come the responsibility of giving back, particularly to your community. In addition, we spend a lot of time in the local schools mentoring those kids and hopefully providing them some valuable lessons that they can take not only to be good athletes, but to be more importantly good students and good people. So community engagement and service is always going to be a cornerstone of what we're all about.
And sure, we've got a Mary Washington Athletic Director Ken Tyler with us here at the half. And one of the things that you're involved with the NCAA tournament, if I understand correctly, is being a part of the Mid-Atlantic Regional Committee that goes into that. So talk a little bit about your part of the process of putting this national tournament together.
Well, it's a terrific opportunity, and I encourage any coach or administrator that has a chance to do so. I was on the Division II National Committee before becoming the AD at Mary Washington, and it really does open your eyes a lot. And, in terms of how we evaluate teams, it's very numbers-driven, and I think it has to be at the Division III level because we don't have the opportunity, like they might in Division I, to see all the teams on ESPN or CBS. So we have to rely on the data. And I'm not a real strong math guy, but I've learned over the years to interpret the data and understand things like strength of schedule and in-region win-loss percentage and quality wins against ranked opponents. And all of those things are factored in to try to provide, two things: the strongest teams to represent your region, and then providing the strongest possible national tournament. And I think we did a good job of both this year.
Well, certainly very much. And, appreciate you joining us here at the half. good luck to the Eagles the rest of the way, and looks like more basketball down the road for them.
Thank you very much. We appreciate the opportunity, and we like to say up in Fredericksburg, it's a great day to be an Eagle, and certainly is so far.
So far, so good. Ken, we appreciate you joining us. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
As we'll switch half, give equal time here. Somebody from DeSales will be joining us here.
Appreciate your time.
Jerry Joyce, the Vice President of Student Affairs from DeSales, will be joining us here, taking over for Ken Tyler. That was the Athletics Director at Mary Washington, joining us here at the half. So as we will wait for the exchange here. Hey, Jerry, how you doing? So we appreciate you joining us here at the half. Certainly for DeSales, bringing a nice little contingent coming down here. I guess not too bad of a drive coming down from Pennsylvania here, but certainly been a fun weekend of basketball for these fans here so far.
Yeah, it's been pretty exciting. Definitely worth the 5.5, 6 hour drive down here. We had a great night last night. We're excited to be here tonight.
Well, certainly. We're talking about the national tournament here, so folks may not necessarily be as familiar with DeSales. So talk a little bit about the institution and for maybe a kind of a 101 version for people that may not know a lot about it.
Okay, we're up there in Center Valley, Pennsylvania, which is part of the Lehigh Valley, the third biggest population in Pennsylvania after Philadelphia and Pittsburgh. Liberal arts Catholic college, been there since '65. We have about 36 different majors, about 1,600 full-time undergraduates, about another 1,500 graduate students, about another 1,000 in our adult program. 550 acres of land, so we're pretty rural up there. 16 varsity sports. One of the things we're really known for is our distinctiveness is not only our academic programs, but really developing students of character. So we have a whole program that puts students through a character development phase through their freshman year and matching them up with mentors and just to get them to develop into good human beings through their process at DeSales and student development. Just getting ready to build some new housing for our students. Also, we also launch a big athletics master plan. We're going to get some new fields, new additions to our athletic facility, those type of things, and potentially adding new sports.
Sure. And so about the interesting part about the character and development about that, talk about some of the unique, what are the unique things that DeSales offers that maybe make it different from other institutions that really drive that point home?
We have a first-year experience program that we actually call Character U. And it's really based on some of the teachings of our patron saint and some of the virtues of patience and humility and gentleness, and really having students develop in a way that actually it works in tandem with their academic experiences on campus. So they go through a series of programs through that first year in developing as a student, and we kind of carry that into what we call the DeSales experience, where they're doing service and leadership activities, they're taking specific academic courses, and then doing work through either internships or externships or stuff within the community in which they're able to get a distinction as a DeSales experience outside the academic piece. We kind of bring it all together. So that's kind of some of the stuff we're doing up in DeSales.
It's certainly very unique. And one of the things that you mentioned, too, is the senior village, some increased senior housing. I know here at Randolph-Macon, that's building a lot of new housing and the excitement that's brought to the community here. So I'm assuming that the same thing is going to be true at DeSales, that it's new buildings, new excitement, and I'm sure probably needed to keep up with the students that you're trying to recruit these days.
Yeah, our population's been growing every year, so we actually need more space for our students to live. We're predominantly residential campus. Since we're kind of young, we're approaching our 50th anniversary in a couple of years. This is going to be our first housing that actually is apartment style to kind of move the students into that independent type of living before they leave 4 years of college and go out into the real world. And people are pretty excited about that, but also pretty excited about the athletic stuff that's coming along as far as new turf fields, that type of stuff, in addition to our athletic facility.
So, as I said, we mentioned that earlier about the turf fields and all that, too. What exactly are the facilities upgrades? Is it just a matter of getting some new turf facilities, to all-weather type things, or is there going to be any new buildings or new fields or things like that?
Actually, it's going to be several new fields. It's going to be a new turf field. We're going to move our track and field. We're going to add on to our athletic facility with a brand new fitness center. We're going to have more team rooms, locker rooms, recreation space for our students, because we want to be able to not only take care of our athletes, but take care of our whole student population. Beyond that, we're going to do upgrades with a baseball stadium and a softball stadium. We have, hopefully, in the long-term, part of our long-term planning is a new athletic basketball facility that will hold up to 2,500 students. Kind of the big things that we're looking at in the next several years, we hope.
Down the road. Well, Jerry, it sounds like very exciting stuff. I wanted to DeSales. Appreciate you joining us.
Thank you.
Good luck to the Bulldogs in the second half.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Take care.
As we're dealing with the headset there, it's Jerry Joyce, the Vice President of Student Life at DeSales University. So equal time there, reset Marty. Go over some of the halftime stats, and we'll get ready to start the second half as both teams are making their way back to the floor.
Again, thank you very much to Ken Tyler, the athletic director from the University of Mary Washington, for his time at the half. Also, Jerry Joyce, the Vice President of Student Life for DeSales. Back here at Crenshaw at the half, the Eagles of Mary Washington College with a 38-15 lead at the half. Looking at the stat sheet first for the Bulldogs from DeSales University, they shot 20% in the first half. That's 5 of 25 overall. 3 of 15 on their three-point attempts for 20% as well, and 2 for 2 from the free throw line. Leading scorer in the first half, Paul Palmer had 9 points, Mike Coleman with 4, Michael Golden with 2. They are the only 3 players that scored for the Bulldogs in the first half. DeSales also had 10 turnovers in that first session. Turning, looking at the Eagles from the University of Mary Washington, they have 38 points at the half, shooting 45%. That's 14 of 31 overall, 7 of 18 on their three-point attempts for 39%, and 3 of 3 from the free throw line for 100%. Leading scorer in the first half of the Eagles, Dom Mora with 12 points. He also has 2 assists and 2 rebounds in the first half. Bradley Richter with 9 points and 5 rebounds. DeJuan Daniel has 2 points and 5 rebounds. Taylor Johnson with 6 points. Marcellus Holly with 2. John Yoxtheimer with 2. And Asa Scott with 3. Dylan Farranet also with 2. Only 3 turnovers in the first half for the Eagles versus 9 assists. So as Andrew mentioned before we went to the interviews at the half, really just a stifling defense in the first half for the Eagles of Mary Washington, really only allowing the Bulldogs to shoot 20%. Pretty amazing that you play 20 minutes of basketball and only allow your opponent to make 5 field goals in 20 minutes of play. You hold somebody to 20% shooting, that's an impressive defensive half.
Well, it really is, and that's we're the bottom line. DeSales is going to have to start to figure some things out, and it's just they're going to have to figure out a way to deal with this pressure and kind of calm themselves down and just start making some shots to allow them a way to crawl back in this thing. I thought they did a little bit better job defensively as the half went on. The last couple of buckets for Mary Washington were in some run-out situations, or that last little play by Reister, kind of a scramble situation, loose ball that they got it. So they're doing a little bit better job of the defensive, and they're just going to have to find a way to score some points and get some shots to go down for them. And if they want to come back, and Paul Palmer's had the hot hand for him. He's got more field goals. He's got 3 field goals. Everybody else combined's got 2 for him. So he's the only one that seems to be having the touch here tonight. I'm sure Randolph-Macon fans wish that Mike Coleman and Kyle Hash were combined 1 of 9 in the first half yesterday, but they're doing a nice job on them.
And while you're doing the interviews at the half, I had a chance to take a look at the score from down in Virginia Beach. At the half, it's 39-29 Virginia Wesleyan over Wesley. So one of the ODAC teams has a 10-point lead, looking to advance. And, of course, the winner of that ball game, Virginia Wesleyan against Wesley, will advance to play the winner of this ball game. That site is yet to be determined. They'll figure that out depending upon how the rest of the bracket plays out. But
and certainly up with, I think, with Williams and SUNY Purchase. So
right.
I overheard somebody saying that Purchase was, that Williams was losing at halftime. So certainly, if you've got a couple of Virginia schools going, and Williams goes down, maybe that's a chance for the tournament to the next round to come back down to Virginia next weekend.
So you've got 2 Virginia schools that have a lead at the half. Virginia Wesleyan with a 10-point lead down at the beach over Wesley. The Eagles from the University of Mary Washington have a 23-point lead here at Crenshaw. First team to take the floor in the second half of the Bulldogs from DeSales University. Right in front of us, Paul Palmer will inbound to start the second half. It'll be Palmer, Golden, Deal, Bryant, and Coleman on the floor for the Bulldogs. Reister, Mora, Farranet, Daniel, and Johnson start the second half for the Eagles. Inbound into the backcourt in the hands of Golden. Handoff quickly goes to Coleman. They'll spread the floor. Coleman with a dribble. Works his way to the right wing. Handoff goes to Golden. Golden circles on the dribble. Deal now feeds it to Palmer left corner. They jump the screen. Now back to Golden. Right side to Coleman. 17 on the shot clock. Step back jump shot. Coleman on the way. No good. Battle for the rebound. Controlled by Taylor Johnson. Outlet of Reister. Cross-court pass comes to Mora. Mora into the front court. Half-court man-to-man being shown by the Bulldogs. Farranet works his way to the right elbow. Gives it up. Left side to Mora. Mora starts his move down the lane with a dribble. Backs it out. Working there against Golden. Farranet top of the key. The cutters. Reister turn around. Flips it up to the right hand, and that's good. Started to his left. Reversed back to that right hand. Flips it up in the lane for 2.
If he got him running off screens in the paint and creating like that, just adds a little bit more versatility in the ways he can score, not just a three-point shooter.
Coleman, front court, asks for the ball screen, gets it from Bryan, keeps the dribble alive, gives it up right side. Golden will fire the three. That's off the side rim. Taylor Johnson with another defensive rebound. Quick outlet to Mora. Daniel running the floor. They tried to throw over the top. Coleman sees it, deflects it out of bounds. It'll stay with the Eagles. They'll have it with 31 to shoot. They own a 25-point lead right now, 40-15, with 18:49 to play here in the second half. Inbound, well beyond the top of the key to Daniel. Brings it right side to Mora. Mora facing up against Golden. Resets the offense, asks for the ball screen, gets it from Farragut. Down the left side, shows the ball back out. It comes to Farragut, pumps on the three, puts it on the deck, takes it right baseline, swings it now to Reister. Mora, left side Johnson. He shows the three, steps inside. Floater down the lane, doesn't get it to go. Battle for the rebound. Cleared out there by Bryan. Outlet comes to Deal. Now Golden into the front court, Coleman. Coleman working right baseline, draws contact. That's going to be a foul against Reister. And Reister not happy with the call. That'll be the first foul of the second half called against Mary Washington. Reister's second. Fresh 35 from the baseline. Golden to trigger it in. Attic comes to Coleman. Open three. That's off the side rim. Cleared by Moore and a foul by Deal. Mora goes hard to the floor. Deal's going to get whistled for the rebounding foul.
Deal just kind of gets up and goes the other way, knows it. Got away with a little bit of a move and screen Bryan did to come that first three-point attempt from Coleman. There's certainly a lot of contact in the paint there.
That's probably the cleanest look. It was a deep look by Coleman, but probably the most uncontested look he's had in the ballgame.
1 of 9 now shooting for the senior.
Moore into the front court, met there by Golden. Keeps the dribble alive as he works it down the right side. Reverses it now to Reister. Reister working out high against Palmer. Back to Daniel, left side to Farragut. He'll fire the three. Back rim, no good. Long rebound, and a rebounding foul is going to be called against Daniel. Deal had inside position. Daniel gets whistled for the foul. 2 team fouls now in the second half against the Eagles.
And one of the officials getting Daniel kind of walking side by side down the court. Mary Washington sets a press.
Inbound will be Deal. Flashing the ball is Golden. And they'll still look to trap in the backcourt. Now Mora will back off as he fakes it, Golden, as he clears the timeline. Golden with a crossover down the lane. Driving layup, no good. Offensive rebound to Bryan. He'll put it up off the glass for 2. Golden looked to create. Bryan gets the second chance opportunity. That's 2 points off the glass, and it's 40-17. Mora front court. Golden with ball pressure. Mora now left side, takes it left baseline, works his way down, hands off to Farragut, kicks it in the corner. It's going to be deflected by, actually thought Palmer got a piece of it, but they're going to say goes over to the Bulldogs, turnover against the Eagles.
That's one of the first times I've seen that Mary Washington, these couple of ball games, turn to want to kick out to where they thought one of their shooters was supposed to be, and just a little bit of miscommunication. One of the things that they've done a good job of, I've seen this weekend, is knowing where all their guys are supposed to be on the floor and knowing where to drive and kick it to.
Pressure applied in the backcourt by the Eagles. Palmer comes all the way back into the backcourt to help out. He takes the inbound. Cross-court pass goes to Golden. Now they get it to Coleman. Coleman to clear the timeline. The Bulldogs look to spread the floor. 1-4 set. Coleman drives the lane, has the ball tipped away out of bounds. Last touch by the Eagles, but they put all 4 guys along the baseline and give Coleman the ball out front. A deflection forces it out of bounds, so the Bulldogs will keep it with 22 to shoot.
Yeah, DeJohn Daniels done a nice job D'ing him up. He got a little foul trouble yesterday. Did a good job of defending without fouling.
Coleman along the baseline, runs into a double team, backs it out in the hands of Bryan. Bryan back to Coleman on the perimeter. Now Coleman follows the defender right down the lane. You can see Yoxtheimer never saw him, and he drove it right up the back of Yoxtheimer, and he'll draw the foul and go to the free throw line to shoot 2.
Yeah, he just kind of got out of position, got turned around and tangled up, and
Yoxtheimer had actually come out and heads the screen and went back chasing his man, and Coleman followed him right up his back to the bucket. And the foul gets whistled against number 5, Yoxtheimer, his second, the team's third. Coleman goes to the free throw line and makes his first. Matt Poorman checks back in the lineup for DeSales, as does number 3, Kyle Hash. Coleman at the line to shoot his second. Second is also good. 40-19 now in favor of the Eagles over the Bulldogs. 16:54 to play here in the second half. Mary Washington into the front court. Moore with the dribble live. Ball screen set by Farranet. Back at it goes to Farranet. On the perimeter, they find Daniel. He'll penetrate right side, draws the double team, and call for the travel. Ran right into the double team. This time it was number 30, Travis Bryant, and Poorman, who doubled him along the baseline and forced him to shuffle his feet.
Yep, and a lot better job clamping down there. You know, Brian's playing under the post. DeSales made a little bit of adjustment here in the second half. Brian's playing underneath the basket more. Have another defender out on Mora, and kind of drove him into the 6'7" player, made a nice play defensively.
Hammer to Hash, Hash into the front court. Hash crossing over against Moore, jumper on the way, and that's good. First look he got, really used that crossover dribble to clear himself, knocks it down.
Yeah, one of the cleanest looks DeSales had all ball game.
40-21 now in favor of the Eagles. Moore front court, Farranet screened at the free throw line. Back out to come to Johnson. Now Farranet on the perimeter, gives it up to Daniel. Daniel works his way top of the key, feeds it to Moore right side. Now to Reister. Reister looks to penetrate, and a blocking foul is going to be called on Coleman. Coleman gets whistled for the foul. That will be his third, the team's first. And really, he's got 3 fouls, but you cannot afford to take him out of the ballgame right now with 16:02 to play. You need every bit of firepower you can put on the floor right now. Inbound from the baseline, finds Daniel. Daniel working against Poorman, drives the lane, and a hand-checking foul. They're going to give him the continuation. The foul actually occurred about 3 steps up the lane. The hand on the hip, whistle blows, but Daniel keeps going hard to the hole. They'll give him the bucket and the foul.
And we'll go to immediate timeout, 15:59 on the clock. But that's what we talked about at Mary Washington spreading somebody out. That time DeSales had Poorman and Kohler out on the perimeter chasing a little bit. And once Daniels was able to kind of get a step go towards the lane and take the contact, there's nobody really there to cut him off and challenge the layup. So just a nice play there by DeSales. Really first time I think we've seen a situation to that extent in this ball game. Thought we'd see more of it, but nice play there by Daniel.
15:59 to play here in the second half. It's 42-21 in favor of the Eagles from the University of Mary Washington. They led 38-15 at the half, and for every time that the Bulldogs they've got a couple better looks on the offensive end. They make a shot to get it down under 20. The Eagles answer back, and they'll go to the free throw line coming out of the timeout with Daniel shooting 1. And you mentioned Coleman really having a rough night shooting the ball for the Bulldogs. I think last time stat you had he was 1 for 9, and just they're really challenging every shot he's taken on the offensive end.
Well, yes, when you look at what he and Hash did yesterday, combined 55 of DeSales 76 points, and today they're combined 2 of 12 from the floor. And that's you talk about you rely so much on 2 guys, and those guys having a rough night. Somebody else has got to pick up the slack, and really outside of Pammer knocking down 3 threes for the Bulldogs, really hadn't been anybody else there to help them out on the offensive end.
So out of the timeout, it'll be number 21, DeJuan Daniel, going to the free throw line to shoot 1. 3 team fouls each way now in the second half with 15:59 to play. Daniel, the 6'1 senior from Fredericksburg, Virginia, spent a couple years playing at Eastern Mennonite in the ODAC, was a pretty good player for them prior to transferring back to his hometown school in Fredericksburg. Daniel's free throw short. Battle for the rebound. Came right off the front rim down to Farranet, and it looks like a foul is going to be called against the Bulldogs. Just not sure how you let Farranet get in that quickly into the lane. Just no block out on that missed free throw.
Right, particularly when you're giving up or you've got a 6-inch height advantage.
And they call that foul on Andrew Kohler. His first, the team's 4th.
Yeah, Kohler's got 6 inches on Farranet, but Farranet is definitely a scrappy ball player.
Inbound will be from the baseline. Mora finds Farranet. Once on the deck, gives it up to Daniel, rotates back to Mora. Thought about the 3. Farranet will set the screen. Mora flips it back to Farranet. He shows the 3, then goes right past his defender.
Nice
feeds Daniel for 2. Farranet beat his man off the dribble. That was Kohler. Shoveled it to the opposite side of the lane. And Daniel with the finish.
And Farranet can be such a matchup prop for teams because a lot of times he's playing a 4, but he's got a little bit of a quickness of a guard that can make those types of plays.
Hash to Pammer. Pammer 3 on the way. No good. Short off the front rim. Cleared out of there by Reister. Reister feeds it through the double team to Mora. Mora into the front court. Brings it down the right side. Handoff goes back to Reister. 3 on the way. Side rim. But the cleanup there for Taylor Johnson. One of the few misses we've seen from Reister from deep. Johnson follows it up, lays it up for two, and it's 46-21 right now in favor of the Eagles with 15-11 to play.
Just impressive. Everything kind of going the Eagles' way there. Like I said, you get a miss, but then a guy, Johnson, right there. I mean, point blank for the putback. And
when I think the way they play, you know, in a transition situation like that, and that little handoff goes to Reister, they played with him enough to know that the ball's going up.
Right.
You know, the three-point shot's going up. So Taylor Johnson really wastes no time. No block out in a transition situation like that. Just runs to the rim and an easy two on the follow-up.
Yeah, you're right. And just that continues to be a tremendous effort out of Mary Washington, 15 minutes away from their first trip to the Sweet 16. And tell you what, I mean, I think what's been really impressive to me is, of course, Reister's made a couple of threes and made some nice plays, but they've shown good balance yesterday. Once he started making some threes in the first half against Springfield, they made some adjustments defensively. Other guys came in and made some shots, and it hadn't not necessarily all been him. Moore made some shots from the get-go, but they're getting good balance scoring out of all their guys. And no reason to think, with the right matchups the rest of the way, if they end up playing Virginia Wesleyan, who they've beaten already this year, a team that that's not going to have a tremendous amount of size, they get the right matchups, the way that they're playing, the intensity, and they continue to make some shots, they could make a run here.
And I think from the games we've seen this year, watching most of the games in the ODAC, Mary Washington creates more difficulty for any team I've seen on the defensive end. They put more pressure on the ball. We used to see that a lot from Virginia Wesleyan, but I think these guys are better as far as trapping in a half-court set and the sheer amount of pressure. They simply don't let you run your offense. Right. I think that the amount of pressure they put in a half-court set is pretty amazing.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. At least the two ball games that we've seen here this week, it has been.
Out of the timeout, inbound belongs to the Bulldogs. Into the backcourt to Hash. Hash working there against Mora. Starts it right side to Palmer. 15:04 in the game clock. Hash brings it left side on the dribble. Top of the key, they find Coleman. Coleman works his way down the lane. Short jump shot, and that goes about 12 feet. Knocks it down from the left side of the lane. Tough jumper in traffic. 46-23 now in favor of the Eagles. Moore into the front court. They're going to give him a jump shot if he wants it. You can see Coleman playing off of him. Feeds it instead to Daniel, right corner. Yoxtheimer sets the screen. Back to Johnson, left side to Mora. Mora will fire the three. Rattles off the mark. Reister tips it back to Mora. Fresh 35 for the Eagles. Cross court, it comes to Johnson. Johnson will fire the three, and that's good. They missed the first. Get it back. Reverse it. Taylor Johnson wide open for a three, and he drains it.
We talk a lot about Reister and his ability to shoot the ball, but Taylor Johnson, 42% on the year, too. He's a heck of a shooter as well.
Coleman in the front court, working there against Daniel. Gives it up left side to Palmer. One dribble back to Coleman, top of the key. Handoff goes to Hash. 17 on the shot clock. Hash stuck at the top of the key, picks up the dribble, feeds it right side. That's going to be a three on the way. Good. Knocked down by Andrew Kohler. The big man stepping out, draining the three, and it's 49-26.
And maybe that's a little bit of a spark that the Bulldogs need.
Moore into the front court. Feeds it left side to Daniel. Yoxtheimer comes and sets the screen at the left elbow. Daniel picks up the dribble to Moore, now in the corner. Three on the way, and that's good. Back-to-back threes for Taylor Johnson, this time deep in the right corner. And the Eagles have doubled up the Bulldogs. It's 52-26. Front court, Hash. Foul's going to be called against Daniel. Ball pressure there, just a hand on the dribbler. And that'll be the fourth team foul, I believe, against the Eagles. So 4 fouls each way with 13:21 to play. Fairnet will check in along with Holly. Reister and Yoxtheimer will go out. Deal back in the lineup for the Bulldogs. They get the deal off the inbound from Palmer. Back out on top to Palmer. Rotates it left side to Hash. Hash working against Holly. Palmer now on the right side. Hash top of the key. Rotates it to the left wing in the hands of Coleman. Coleman takes Daniel off the dribble, down along the baseline, tried to drop it underneath. Nice defense by Holly. Dropped down, poked it away, tipped it in the hands of Fairnet. They get it to Mora. Eagles into the front court. Keep the dribble alive. He'll back it out, working there against Palmer. Left side now to Daniel. Daniel to right side to Johnson. Zone this time, Dan. Looks like a 1-3-1 being shown by the Bulldogs. Johnson on the right wing. Skip pass over the top to Mora. He looks to penetrate back out to Johnson. He'll fire the three. That's off the front rim. No good. Battle for the rebound. Had it for a moment. Now the Bulldogs come out of there with it. Hash, and he'll be fouled. And Daniel thought he had a steal, but really came right across Hash and knocked him to the floor. So not a shooting foul. Daniel gets whistled for it. It'll be his second, the team's fifth. Actually, his third, the team's fifth. And possession will stay with the Bulldogs.
Now, the way that is good execution at half, they really flinched once they saw us in a zone. Did a nice job of trying to get in the middle there and kicking it back out to Johnson for a three. And the way he's been shooting it, kind of surprised it didn't go down.
Yeah, he knocked down the last two threes that he had shot and got a clean look that time. Front court come the Bulldogs. Left side now to Hash. Top of the key, that's Coleman working there against Scott. Gets Scott off the floor, goes up through him, fires. Nice pump fake by the senior point guard. They're working against a freshman. Showed the ball from the right elbow. And you can see Farranet telling Scott, just keep your feet and go straight up. Yeah, but Coleman really initiated that contact.
Yeah, Scott a little bit bigger, got long arms there. You can probably do a pretty good job defending, but that time DeSales, so we've seen just maybe clearing it out, maybe trying to make it a little bit more of a one-on-one game in a half-court set, and just hopefully Coleman can make some plays that way.
So Mike Coleman stepping to the free throw line. Very effective from the line last night in their first-round win over Randolph-Macon as he makes his first. We mentioned as a team, the Bulldogs shoot close to 77%, and that was a weapon they used effectively last night. They just have not been able to get to the line as frequently tonight as he makes both.
Now 6 for 6 in the ball game.
Inbound comes to Mora, chased in the backcourt there by Hash. And again, the Bulldogs will show their 1-3-1. Hash at the point. The middle line there, Coleman, number 30, Bryant, left side Deal, back line, man is Golden. Over the top, they find Holly, reverses it to Farranet. Farranet back to Mora, left side, thought about the three. Instead, keeps the dribble, working there against Hash. Cross-court pass to Holly. Holly into the corner to Scott. Back at it comes to Holly with 7 on the shot clock. He looks to penetrate, kicks it opposite Johnson, 3 on the way, and that's good. Patience against the 1-3-1 for the Eagles. The skip pass opposite found Johnson open, and he drained it. He's been the big three-point shooter in the second half now for the Eagles. It's 55-28 in favor of Mary Washington, 11:26 to play here in the second half.
He's got the last 11 for the Eagles.
Golden gives it up to Hash. Hash left baseline. Floater off the glass won't go. Rebound comes down to Scott. Scott battling underneath. Hash tried to tie him up. Gives the foul. And that'll be the 5th foul against the Bulldogs. An immediate timeout with 11:13 to play. 55-28. The Eagles from the University of Mary Washington in complete control. They led this ball game 38-15 at the half. And pretty amazing with almost... You've played 29 minutes right now, and the opposing team, in this case the Bulldogs from DeSales University, with only 28 points.
They have done a little bit better job in the second half, but you're right, overall, just a fantastic defensive effort. And the winner of this game will go on to play the winner of Virginia Wesleyan and Wesley. They're playing down at the beach right now, and the Marlins of Virginia Wesleyan with a 52-47 lead to go with 11:26 left to go in that one. So that's who the winner will get there, and it'll be interesting to see. They'll also be in a bracket. I think Williams and SUNY Purchase coming out of there. Also part of that. And Albertus Magnus, it looks like they're leading Purchase at the half, 38-31. And Williams starting to pull away here in the second half from Gordon, up 63-50. About 9.5 minutes left to go in that one.
And interesting here, Scott Koval, the coach for DeSales, has changed it up a little bit defensively, come out with a 1-3-1 and really didn't phase the Eagles. They recognized it right away, patient against it. Last time down, they drove the ball deep into the right side and looked opposite and found Taylor Johnson, who's been very hot from the perimeter. He's knocked down 3 threes here in the second half. So even changing defenses against Mary Washington really has not been able to slow them down.
No, I mean, if you're going to switch to that, obviously zone, create some opportunities from 3 points, and you just got to get out there and run out of these guys if that's what you're going to try to do.
Farranet will inbound. The Bulldogs will show pressure. They get it in the backcourt to Mora, back to Farranet. Farranet picked up there by Hash. He'll clear the timeline with a right-handed dribble. Working against Hash, gets it back to his point guard, Mora. Mora working against Golden, 23 on the shot clock. Mora top of the key with the dribble, gives it to Johnson on the left wing. Johnson back to Mora. Mora working top of the key with the dribble. Spin move working against Golden. Lost it for a moment. They'll call the double dribble. He spun in the lane with it, and they said he caught it, put it back on the deck, so the backside official makes that call. And a rare turnover in the ballgame against the Eagles.
Yep, like I said, it's a tough one. Mary Washington, I don't think it was.
And that's going to be an offensive foul called against Golden. He was fighting for position in the backcourt against Taylor Johnson. And they're going to say he used his off arm to try to clear the defender away. And the Bulldogs give it right back to the Eagles.
Yep, something you can't afford to do at this point.
Out it comes to Scott. Racing to the ball is Moore, trying to get it back from Scott. Finally does, and a foul is going to be called on the opposite side of the floor. We'll see who that whistle's against.
I think it's against number 3.
Yeah, it'll be Kyle Hash. That'll be his 4th.
He's just trying to keep the ball out of Reister's hands. That's just away from the ball, fighting for position, and tough way to get your 4th.
Hash now has 4. Mike Coleman with 3 for the Bulldogs. Fresh 35 from the baseline for the Eagles. 10:42 to play. 55-28 in favor of the University of Mary Washington. Scott rotates it right side to Mora. Bulldogs are back into a half-court man-to-man. Mora top of the key with the dribble. Keeps the dribble alive, working there against Golden down the lane, and he's going to call for travel. Second time he's penetrated, and the footwork didn't work for him. Spins, turns it over, and has a conversation with his head coach as he's walking back down court. And DeSales gives it right back. Golden dives on the floor, actually scoops it to Palmer. Near turnover. Bulldogs keep it. Coleman in the front court. Palmer to Deal. Deal out of the corner, 3 on the way. No good, side rim. And a rebounding foul is going to be called against number 30. Actually, they're going to whistle that on Reister, I think, from the backside. Reister for the Eagles with a foul.
And Moore that time landed hard, diving for it on his elbow. He's actually in position to get that rebound if he didn't call the foul there. I mean, good hustle getting back down the floor, but he's still kind of coming. He's going to come out here.
And that is the 7th team foul in the second half against the Eagles. So number 30, Travis Bryan, will go to the free throw line with a 1-on-1 opportunity. Third foul on Bradley Reister. So I think he's really the only player in any type of foul trouble for the Eagles. Bryan at the line. First one is short off the front rim, and a rebounding foul is going to be called on 14. Actually, I think they're going to call that a violation. I think they're going to say the Eagles were in the lane too quickly, and it's back to a 1-on-1. So Travis
Bryan, there wasn't a foul there. That'd have been a little touchy.
Free throw missed. Rebound poked out, controlled by Taylor Johnson. Outlet comes to midcourt to Reister, quickly into the front court to Scott. Scott waits, looking for Holly as point guard. And the official turned to Coach Rod Wood. I think he thought Rod was going to call a timeout, blows his whistle, an inadvertent whistle, so the play will stop, and the Eagles will inbound from right in front of us with 23 on the shot clock. Inbound comes to Scott, rotates it back to Holly. Holly with the dribble, working against Golden. Ball screen set by Farragut. Handoff goes back to Farragut. Chose not to shoot the 3, gives it up instead to Johnson. 3 out of the corner by Scott. That rattles off the mark. Defensive rebound pulled down by Travis Bryan. Bulldogs with a run out. Golden to the hoop. He gets it a go. In traffic. Tough finish there by Michael Golden. And it's 55-30 in favor of the Eagles.
Yeah, he's made some tough buckets for them in this ball game.
Johnson into the front court. Circles around with the dribble. Gets it to Holly. Nearly stolen there by Golden. Holly right side now to Johnson. Motions for Scott to cut through. Scott will set the ball screen. Johnson dribbles hard inside the lane, now backs it out. Scott back to Johnson, right side with 15 to shoot. And a foul in the half-court set. That's going to be against Palmer. As you can see, Holly goes to the deck hard. And Holly reaches around and gives him a little pat on the thigh. They're going at it hard on the opposite side of the floor. And that'll be the 7th foul against the Bulldogs. So both teams in the bonus now with 9:13 to play. 55-30. The Eagles from the University of Mary Washington up by 25 over the Bulldogs from DeSales University. At the free throw line, Holly makes his first. Marcellus Holly at the line to shoot his second. Second long off the back rim. Farragut offensive rebound. Fresh 35. Reister out of the corner. 3 on the way. That side rim no good. Rebounding foul. Farragut goes crashing to the floor. and that's going to be a foul against the Bulldogs, and Fairnet will go to the line. We'll see if this is 1-and-1 or a 2-shot.
That's going to be the 5th on Coleman.
They're going to call that actually on Hash.
Or Hash, excuse me. I got my 3s and 5s backwards, but yeah, it's still.
So Kyle Hash, who had 26 points last night against Randolph-Macon, will foul out for the Bulldogs with 9:06 to play. And really interesting, we've talked all weekend about Mary Washington not having a lot of size, but they go to the offensive boards very hard. And you can see Fairnet and Scott, in this case, really crashing the boards, and Fairnet's going to go to the free throw line to shoot free throws off the rebounding foul.
Yeah, Hash will foul out 1 of 4 from the floor shooting. Misses only 3-point attempt, but you're right now, Mary Washington, 13 offensive rebounds in this contest. They do, I mean, which is, when you think about how many threes they shoot, it would be tough to be in position to get a lot of those rebounds. They do a good job of fighting their way through it. Not as much of a size differential between them and DeSales as maybe like last night with Springfield, but the kids just have a nose for the ball. They're fighting for it.
So Fairnet at the line. This is a 1-and-1 opportunity. First free throw's good. Hash fouled out of the ball game on that foul, his 5th. That was the 8th team foul against the Bulldogs. Dylan Fairnet, the 6'2 senior from Colonial Beach, Virginia. Actually, Westmoreland, Virginia, Colonial Beach High School. At the free throw line to shoot his second. Second rattles off the mark, tipped off the hands of Travis Bryant, and the ball will go back to the Eagles. And this time, it's number 21, DeJuan Daniel, applying pressure on the rebound. The Bulldogs couldn't control it, and the Eagles will get a fresh 35.
Yeah, that's just, like you said, it's just tough to keep giving those sorts of opportunities up. And it's sometimes just a matter of wanting to go up there and getting a rebound, and Mary Washington wants a little bit more right now.
Daniel backs it out on the dribble, swings it to Yoxtheimer on the perimeter. Backdoor cut not there to Johnson. Instead, the handoff goes to Reister. Swings it to Yoxtheimer, top of the key. Back out it comes to Moore with 18 on the shot clock. Moore with a dribble live, chased there by Golden. Circles around, goes to the hole, misses the driving layup. Offensive rebound to Daniel. Back out it comes to Reister. He'll put it on the deck down the lane. Scoop shot. Couldn't get it to go, but the tip is good by Daniel. DeJuan Daniel with a follow-up right-handed tip. 59-30 now in favor of the Eagles. Deal, left side, gives it up to Pammer. Pammer drives baseline, pull-up jumper off the side of the rim, no good. Bryant offensive rebound. They immediately double-team him in a tie-up. And they're actually going to whistle a foul, I believe.
Thought it looked like it might have been a tie-up from here.
And it'll send Travis Bryant to the free throw line with a 1-on-1 opportunity. 18 fouls each way with 8:17 to play. 59-30 in favor of the Eagles of Mary Washington. They were up 38-15 at the half.
DeSales done a lot better job of taking care of the ball in the second half. They've been able to score a little bit better, but still just not nearly enough to really make any sort of dent in this Mary Washington lead.
Bryant missed the front end. Rebound came down to Reister in the front court. Coleman gives a foul, and that will be his 4th. So he now has 4. Hash has already fouled out of the ballgame with 5. Laird will check back in along with Ryan Callahan for the Bulldogs. 8:08 to play. And Dom Moore will step to the free throw line. Still a 1-on-1 as that was the 9th foul. Everything in the rest of the way for the Eagles will be 2. Free throw short off the front rim, no good. Cleared out of there by Callahan, and then he loses it. Came down with it. I was screened by the official. I'm not sure if he lost that dribble off his foot out of bounds, but either way, it'll go back to the Eagles.
This kind of sums it up for DeSales. I think he just lost handle of it.
Daniel out high ball screen set by Yoxtheimer. Handoff goes to Mora. Moore with the dribble, working against Golden. Down the lane goes Moore, and he'll finish with the left hand, circling around with the dribble. I think they were waiting for the handoff that never came. He took it right to the rim for 2.
And one thing Moore does a very good job of is always keeping his dribble alive. Never picks it up. He's always dribbling with his head up, looking to find a way to make a play.
Coleman, opposite end. Laird will fire the 3. Side rim, no good. Coleman, offensive rebound. Takes it hard to the hole. Opposite now. Underneath, they drop it to Callahan. He misses the short one. Tipped. Loose ball underneath. Hammer gets it. Misses the short one, but he'll go to the free throw line to shoot 2. And this time, it's the Bulldogs who continue to battle on the offensive boards. 31-point lead right now, 61-30 as we have a media timeout, the under 8-minute timeout. 7:27 to play, 61-30 in favor of the Eagles. Unless you get a complete collapse here in the last 7:27 of this ball game. Looks like the Eagles will be making their first Sweet 16 appearance in the Division III National Tournament, and you've got a score there from down in the beach to see who they might be playing.
It looks like Virginia Wesleyan. It's got a 66-58 lead over Wesley, about 7 minutes of that ball game. So, looks like so you were thinking about maybe there could have been an ODAC collision if Macon and Virginia Wesleyan had gone through, maybe a Capital if Wesley and Mary Washington come through, as opposed to neither of that will be but it will be a rematch though if Virginia Wesleyan can hold on to this ball game, as these two teams did face earlier in the year. Mary Washington did win, I believe, in overtime down there. So that'd be an entertaining ball game. There'd be a lot of three-point shots taken in that one, the way those two teams play. But that would be a very interesting contest if that's what continues to hold. And it's
going to be interesting to see. You talked about the rest of the bracket as far as they'll take a look at things on Sunday to see where those games are going to be played. I think the general thought was that if Purchase won, the games might be up in New York. But good point on your part that if you've got two teams in the state of Virginia, if Mary Washington certainly looks like they may hold on here, and then if Virginia Wesleyan wins down at the beach, it might be difficult not to give the ball game to someone here in the state of Virginia.
And you're right, and Purchase in a world of trouble up there, losing 67-55 to Albertus Magnus. So it very well could be that either because I think Williams is the fourth seed of this bracket. So if you go strictly by order, and no other factors in play, then maybe it is Virginia Wesleyan that have a chance to host.
Out of the timeout, Paul Palmer at the free throw and misses the first free throw. And we talked about the Bulldogs going 25 of 28 from the free throw line last night. Now, the majority of that was Mike Coleman and Kyle Hash. But tonight they have not shot the ball nearly as well from the free throw line. Palmer at the line to shoot his second. Second rattles home. And it's 61-31 now in favor of the Eagles. Johnson in the backcourt gets it to Farragut. Farragut clears the timeline, feeds Mora. Chased there by Laird. Mora on the dribble down the right side. Gets fouled as he goes up for the layup. Laird's going to get whistled from the foul. And Mora, I think you think of him as a pass-first point guard, so when he continues to the hole, it maybe catches it a little bit off guard, but really been aggressive here in the last 5 minutes of really trying to work his way to the front of the rim.
Well, just a good job by spreading DeSales out defensively, and when he was able to make a couple of moves off the dribble, get by a defender, there's a clear lane to the rim there. And as he makes the first free throw, that's what we've seen. I mean, Mary Washington's a good job of spreading everybody out, opens up a clear lane for him.
So Moore makes his first. That foul went up on the board against Brian Laird, his first, the team's 10th. 10 fouls each way now, so everybody's shooting two the rest of the way with 7:14 to play. Moore makes his second. Holly will check in to replace Mora. And the Eagles will continue to press, up by 32. Laird in the backcourt. Over the top, they get it to Golden. Golden front court, kicks it in the corner. Three on the way. Side rim, no good. Contested three. Farragut with a rebound. That was a miss out of the corner by Andrew Kohler. Eagles into the front court, ball in the hands of Reister. Ball screen set by Farragut. Reister kicks it opposite. Holly rotates it. Farragut had the three passes on it. Gives it to Holly in the left corner. Back out it comes to Johnson. Reister with the three right wing, and that's good. Great ball movement by the Eagles. Unselfish play. Johnson had a look, gave it up to Reister, and Reister knocked it down. That's tough.
Yeah, it's tough. But a great ball movement. A couple guys passed up shots to get a better one.
Kohler driving the bucket has his shot blocked by Holly. Looked like he was going to be able to finish from the right side. Holly dropping down to get a piece of that, knocks it out of bounds. It'll stay with the Bulldogs with 25 to shoot.
And that's 5'11", blocking a shot from 6'8".
6:34 to play here in the second half. It's 66-31 in favor of the Eagles. Coleman with a catch, top of the key, has his pass deflected by Reister. Reister with a run out hard to the hole. Can't finish, but it'll go to the free throw line to shoot two. And he got up a little bit on that. So
he thought of maybe take off a step too soon, but I think the way he went up, he was thinking about throwing that down.
So Reister goes to the free throw line to shoot two. They call that foul on number 12. That's going to be Golden, his second. As we mentioned a minute ago, everything will be two shots the rest of the way. First free throw, no good. Short off the side rim. Second one on the way for Reister. That one's good. Holly will check back in. Mora will go out. And it's interesting, they still almost have an offense for defense substitution right now, still in a press, and you're up by 36 points, 67-31. Golden clears the timeline, working there against Johnson. Gives it up right side to Coleman. Coleman fires the three, and that's good. Contested, got it up over Daniel that time and knocks it down. Coleman with a deep three.
His first made three of the ball game, only his third made field goal after a wonderful ball game yesterday.
Holly, front court, behind the Johnson screen, gives it up to Fairnet, back to Johnson beyond the top of the key. He'll put on the deck, working against Kohler. Handoff goes to Fairnet. 18 on the shot clock. Reister steps behind the screen, gets the three to go and draws the foul. Took the handoff from behind the screen. Reister nails the three, also gets fouled, so a chance for the 4-point play. And his release is so quick.
Yeah.
As Mora will check back in. So Bradley Reister made the three, steps to the free throw line to shoot one. Free throw's good. 71-34 now in favor of the Eagles. Inbound goes to Golden. Golden in the backcourt, chased there by Reister. Working against the press. Steps through, gets it into the front court. That's in the hands of number 20, Drew Wilcox. Ball goes out of bounds. Turnover for the Bulldogs. Inbound will come to the Eagles. In it comes to Reister. He'll push it into the front court with a right-handed dribble. 5:35 to play. 71-34 in favor of the Eagles of Mary Washington. And they'll turn it over. Reister thought he had a backdoor cut going to Johnson. Johnson stopped as Reister led him to the basket, and that's a turnover. Holly in, Reister out. And I'm not sure that might be the last you see of Bradley Reister in this ball game. His team comfortably up 71-34. Coleman front court, chased there by number 21. That's Daniel. Coleman backs his man down. Jumper out of the corner. That's Kohler with a three, and that's good. Left corner this time, knocks it down. Big man showing some range.
That's his second three of the ball game. He shoots a high percentage. Doesn't shoot many of them, but does shoot a high percentage from out there.
To approach the 5-minute mark, Mora walks it in the front court. Chased there by Wilcox. Circles along the baseline. Back at it comes to Johnson. Johnson's going to draw the foul on Kohler. And Johnson's knocked down so many threes that when he catches it on the perimeter, you run at him. And that time Kohler just not under control. He'll get tagged with the foul. And it's going to send Taylor Johnson to the free throw line.
Yeah, you're right. You've made so many of them that you've got to respect that shot.
Johnson at the line to shoot two. First is good. Foul goes up on the board against Kohler. That's his second. Second free throw on the way by Johnson. That rattles home. 2 for 2 from the line. Inbound quickly to Golden. Eagles continue to press. It's a 2-2-1 3-quarter court. Golden clears the timeline. Bounce pass across the top to Coleman. Coleman flips it out to Palmer. Had the three passed on it. Takes it baseline instead. Cross-court pass out to Kohler. Kohler to Wilcox in the left corner. Wilcox will fire the three. That's off the side rim. Rebound by Fairnet. Fairnet in the backcourt. Double team. Gets it to Moore. Moore front court underneath to Daniel. Out it comes to Johnson. He'll fire the three. That's short front rim. And a rebounding foul is going to be called against the Eagles as Palmer and Fairnet get tangled up underneath.
They're going to call that on.
And it's interesting because Fairnet thought the call was going to go the other way. Fairnet had already made his way to the free throw line thinking he was shooting. He got tangled up with Palmer. Both of them go to the deck. I think Fairnet certainly thought that he was the one who was fouled, not the one who committed the foul. And Palmer will walk the length of the floor, and instead he will shoot two. That's interesting because Fairnet just got up off the deck.
Right, that's what maybe could give a little bit of pause. They automatically giving him the foul. So wait a minute, maybe it's on Palmer, but I mean, in the end, probably won't matter. But
Fairnet gets whistled for his third. Palmer misses the first free throw. Checking in for DeSales, Derek Dallashun, the 6'2 junior out of West Point, New York.
Tough effort for Coleman, finishing with 13 points, made all 6 of his free throws, but 3 of 11 from the floor. But his effort's what got him here in this ball game.
Palmer does make the second. Eagles in the backcourt. Moore looking to clear the timeline. 4:19 to play. It's 73-38 in favor of the Eagles from the University of Mary Washington. Mora with a dribble live. Hands it off to Johnson. Back it comes to Mora. Farranet will set the ball screen. Popping out, it's Johnson. Shows the 3. Down the lane he goes, and he'll finish with the right hand. Hard to the hole. Shows that he can put it on the deck and score on the layup as well. And that's the respect you get when he's a three-point shooter.
He's closing in on 20. He's got 19 right now.
Kohler gives it up to Golden. Golden working against Mora. Back out it comes to Palmer. Deep 3. Back rim long off the top of the backboard. Loose rebound controlled by Johnson. He's going to be fouled. I think they're going to call that foul on Derek Dalishin.
Kind of out of position there on the rebound. It came across trying to fight for the ball. And
it will be on Derek Dalishin. So we go to our final media timeout of the night. 3:41 to play. And not really how much more you can say, Andrew, about this ball game. It's 75-38. And really, I guess it was 8-6 at one point in time where DeSales may have had an early lead. But
yes,
beyond that, really not much in doubt beyond that point. And
no, I think DeSales finished with 2 field goals in the last 17:30 of the first half, and that's really what set the tone. And that's continued a little bit here in the second half, the defensive effort. But that's really been the big thing. Is just as the half wore down, Mary Washington got a ton of turnovers, made a bunch of shots, made some threes, and really busted the thing open and have kept it at a comfortable distance ever since then. So fantastic job out of them, and really been impressed by it. And while we're at the timeout, we'll check on things down at the beach. And Virginia Wesleyan expanding their lead against Wesley, 75-66, 2:38 left to go in that one. And so that's who the Mary Washington will go on to face the winner of that ball game. So looking like could be a rematch there. And also in this bracket, see if we get an update on Albertus Magnus and Purchase. 75-66 Albertus Magnus defeating the host Purchase in that round there. And the last I checked there, Williams was up comfortably in their ball game there too, so it looks like they'll advance another one. And one other upset looks like Richard Stockton up 82-73 over Cabrini in the waning seconds of that one. So Cabrini undefeated for most of the season.
They got as high as number 3 in the D3Hoops.com poll, I think. Meanwhile, back to this ball game, 3:41 to play, 75-38 in favor of the Eagles of University of Mary Washington. Taylor Johnson steps to the free throw line.
We're keep trying to combine the two.
I'm going to say, yeah, they're both good shooters, so it's not giving them credit for being 2 individuals there, but Johnson makes the first, getting ready to shoot his second. Second short off the front rim, rebounded by the Bulldogs. Comes down in the hands of number 24, Slanger. Front court now. Bulldogs on the offensive end. That's 22, Dalishin with the ball. Right side to Golden. Left side now to Langer. Slanger with a dribble. Swings it back to Dalishin. Cross-court pass goes to number 20, Wilcox. Wilcox will use the ball screen from Kohler. Wilcox with the dribble live. Down the lane, and he'll draw a contact that'll go to the free throw line to shoot 2. I think that foul's going to be whistled against DeJuan Daniel.
And he's had a good ball game as well. 8 points, 7 rebounds. Really, the biggest thing that Daniel's done is he looks like it'd be his 4th foul. He was the one responsible for defending Coleman the ball game. Did an excellent job.
Free throw on the way for Wilcox. Missed that off the side rim. Number 22, John Lookenhouse, checks into the lineup for the Eagles. We saw him play a little bit last night, played pretty effectively. He's getting his first minutes of the ball game tonight with 3:14 to play, as Taylor Johnson will check out. Second free throw, also no good by Wilcox. Battle for the rebound. It's knocked out of bounds. It'll stay with the Bulldogs with 3:13 to play. Looks like Golden will trigger it in. Dalishin with it along the baseline. Swings it on the perimeter to Slanger. Slanger looks to penetrate, kicks it out. Kohler will fire the 3 top of the key. Front rim no good. Rebound tracked down by Golden, fresh 35. He'll fire the 3-pointer. That's long off the side rim. Rebounding long and thrown off out of bounds. The Bulldogs will control it Delishon threw it off the knee, it looks like, of Yoxtheimer, and it'll stay with DeSales. Ryan Greer will check in the ball game for the Eagles. 2:59 to play. It's 76-38 in favor of the Eagles from the University of Mary Washington. Delishon with a dribble, hands it back to Kohler, back to Delishon. Right side now to Slanger. Slanger will fire the three, and that's good. Rattles it home. Knocks it down for the Bulldogs. Quick inbound comes to the Eagles. Holly into the front court. Working against the half-court man-to-man. Holly with a dribble, live. Slanger with the defense. Greer gives it up in the corner. And that's a driving layup. Missed there by Daniel. Golden comes down with a rebound. They hit ahead. It goes to Delishon right side. Back it comes to Slanger. Top of the key, that's Kohler. He'll fire the three, and that's good. Three-pointer for Andrew Kohler. 2 steps behind the line, and it's 76-44.
That's his third of the second half.
Front court now for the Eagles. Greer with a dribble. Picks up the dribble, finds Yoxtheimer. Yoxtheimer waits, backs it out on the dribble, reverses it now to Holly. Holly drives in, kicks it to Yoxtheimer. He'll hoist the three. That's long off the side rim. Offensive rebound comes down in the form of Holly. Crossing over against Slanger. Tipped and controlled by Wilcox. Wilcox with a run out. Down the lane, draws contact, and he'll go to the free throw line to shoot 2. Driving the lane hard that time, number 20, Drew Wilcox, the 6'3 senior out of Lawnside, New Jersey. And he'll go to the free throw line with a 2-shot opportunity. Foul on the play called to number 22, John Lookenhouse. First free throw's good. Number 13, Asa Scott will check in for the Eagles along with number 55, Kevin Sullivan.
Well, deserve a round of applause from the Mary Washington fans here for the seniors checking out of this ball game.
Number 45, Blake Roselle is also checked in the lineup for DeSales as Wilcox makes both free throws. Aaron Burrows also in the game for the Bulldogs.
Oh.
And the Eagles will throw it away in the backcourt. Actually, Holly saves it. That's a heck of a play for him to race back and get that in the backcourt. Meanwhile, Luckenhouse front court gets it back to Holly. 1:38 on the game clock. It's a 30-point lead for the Eagles, 76-46. Baseline, Luckenhouse crossing over, left corner. And they'll call him for stepping on the sideline. That'll be a turnover against the Eagles, giving it back to the Bulldogs. And Tyler Snow, I believe that might be the last player on the Eagle bench. I think we've seen everybody else now. He checks into the ball game. Inbound in the backcourt goes to number 24. That's Slanger. Clears the timeline, starts at left side to Wilcox. Wilcox will draw a foul on the perimeter. That's going to be called on Kevin Sullivan. So with 1:17 to play, the Bulldogs will shoot 2. And a little startled as you pulled up the score. I think that game down at the beach has gotten a little bit closer.
Yeah, it's 77-74 Virginia Wesleyan.
First free throw, no good by Wilcox.
A minute 46 to go. I think Wesley was down 9. It went with 2:38 to go, and they're making a little bit of a run here. DJ Woodmore, 28 points for him. And it looks like Wesley's got 5 guys in double figure scoring.
Wilcox at the line, makes the second. Inbound comes to Scott. Scott clears the timeline, right side, chased there by Wilcox. They look to trap. Cross-court pass goes to Isaac Blue. Blue working out high with the dribble. Between the legs against Slanger. Kicks in the corner. 3-pointer on the way. That's off the side rim. That was a miss there by Ryan Greer. Outlet comes to the Bulldogs. Down the lane goes Wilcox. Has his shot blocked underneath. Battle for the rebound comes down to Greer. Handoff goes to Blue. Under a minute to play. Blue clears the timeline. Loose ball. And a foul is going to be called against number 24, Slanger. And it looks like Isaac Blue will go to the free throw line to shoot 2. Pretty good crowd here tonight from the Eagles as well. The stands across the way pretty full and big crowd behind us as well. So well represented. The trip only about 45 minutes down 95 for them to get from Fredericksburg to Ashland. Blue at the line. Makes his first. Second off the side of the rim, no good. Cleared out of there by Aaron Barrows. Into the hands of Slanger. He'll clear the timeline. Starts at left side to Wilcox. Wilcox working out high. He'll fire the three. That's back rim, no good. Scott battles for the rebound. Picked up off the deck by Sullivan. They get it to Scott. Scott races into the front court. Throwing the alley-oop. That's a missed dunk there by Tyler Snow. Racing back the other way come the Bulldogs. And a layup driving from the left side. That's 45 with the finish, Blake Roselle. Shot clock is off. Really all the Eagles need to do is get it across the mid-court stripe now, and they do that in the form of Scott. And the final score here today is going to be 77-49 in favor of the Eagles from Mary Washington. The Eagles will advance to the school's first Sweet 16 as they improve their record to 24-5 overall. DeSales University, their season will end with a record of 19-10. And the Eagles will wait the outcome of that ball game down in Virginia Beach between the Marlins of Virginia Wesleyan and Wesley to see who they will play next.
Yeah, then Virginia Wesleyan still a 3-point lead. Had a couple of Wesley's made a couple of stops, had a couple of opportunities, has not been able to score there. So still a 3-point ball game. 16 seconds left as we wrap things up here. We'll keep you updated on that one too.
And just an impressive ball game here today for the Eagles. You can see a couple of their players making their way across the court, going into their fan section, and really just, we mentioned it was close for just a few minutes early, and then really the Eagle defense, I think, is really what got it started. And for most of the second half, it was a 30-point ball game.
28% shooting from the floor from DeSales in this contest, 8 of 32 from beyond the arc. A lot of those were late after the contest was kind of already in doubt, but 14 turnovers, a little bit better job taking care of the ball, but in the second half, and at that point in time, things had almost kind of already been decided at that point. So just defensively, you do a fantastic job. On Cole and Coleman and Hash, combined 15 points out of them. But they really had to work on after big games that they both had yesterday. And just the versatility, I think Moore came out, set the tone. DeSales was going to let him play off of it. Made some threes. And, maybe you kind of got things going for Mary Washington. Then, of course, guys like Reister and Johnson did a nice job, too. But they got a little run going with the defense, and getting some deflections in the passing lane and all that. And really took things from there. And it kind of makes you wonder for the Jackets, if we'd had some guys that could have made some shots early in that ball game that they were giving us, if you forced DeSales on what they're trying to do like Mary Washington did tonight. But great ball game for the Eagles. And let's see, it is the final down at the beach. They will move on to play Virginia Wesleyan. So they end up beating Wesley 79-74.
And final look at the stat sheet here. DeSales scores 49 points in the ballgame, shooting 28%, 15 of 54 overall, 8 of 32 in their three-point attempts for 25%, and 11 of 18 from the free throw line. Two players in double figures for the Bulldogs, Mike Coleman with 13, also Paul Palmer with 11. 14 turnovers for the Bulldogs in the ballgame. They lose the battle of the boards 37-41 to the Eagles. The Eagles shoot 46% on the ballgame, 26 of 57 overall, 12 of 32 from beyond the three-point line for 38%, and 13 of 20 from the free throw line for 65%. Three players in double figures for the Eagles, 22 points for Taylor Johnson, 19 for Bradley Reister, and 16 for Dom Moore. Moore also with 4 assists and 2 steals on the ballgame. Only 10 turnovers in the ballgame for the Eagles, and they shot a good percentage, 46%, and a very healthy percentage from beyond the three-point line, about 38%, and really just a good offensive output. But you also, a lot of the points late in the ballgame came for the Bulldogs in sort of mop-up time.
Right.
With about 5 minutes on the clock, I think the Bulldogs had 30 points.
Well, I think you're right about that, Mark. It's a good point as well, too. They made some shots later on. You're right. It was 73-37 with 5 minutes to go. Mary Washington's leading by 36 points. But, just the combination, as we said, a combination of things that Mary Washington does, as long as they don't play a team that's going to have tremendous size. You like the way that they've been playing, and they've come on a road and shot the ball very well. And, that's not easy to do. And they've come in here and done it. And you like their chances to make a run. Anytime you've got as many seniors as they do that play some valuable minutes, and Moore and Farragut and Holly and Reister and Daniel. I mean, that's 5 guys that play a ton of minutes for you, the seniors. That's going to carry you this time of year. And I think that's a very good combination for Mary Washington. For DeSales, great win for them yesterday. Really well, executed, made some plays. Maybe ran out of gas having to play in overtime. And Mary Washington had to speed them up a little bit. Maybe it's not what they needed, and just kind of snowball from there. But, good effort for them to make a run. We kind of right the ship, I think, winning 8 of 9 down the stretch in the regular season, winning their league tournament, coming in here, pulling the upset against Randolph-Macon yesterday, and getting to the round of 32.
So the final score here from Crenshaw, the Eagles from the University of Mary Washington, 77. The Bulldogs from DeSales University, 49. The Eagles will advance to play the Marlins from Virginia Wesleyan, who claimed victory down at the Virginia Beach against Wesley College. The date and time, or actually the location of that game still to be determined. You'll have to watch the bracket tomorrow on D3 Hoops to see that. We'd like to thank Ken Tyler, the athletic director from Mary Washington, for joining us at the for a halftime interview. Also Jerry Joyce, the Vice President of Student Life from DeSales University. Also our partners here this week on ODAC TV. So for Andrew Price, I'm Marty Wilson saying so long from Crenshaw.